Heidi ho, good neighbors. How are you? Happy Sunday. I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas. I hope Santa was good to everyone. I also hope everybody's enjoying Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, which started the day after Christmas. So I wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and of course, a Happy New Year. We hope that things get better. Having said that, I'm Phil Russert, and this is Creatorcon Q&A. This is a special episode with a great guest and someone I consider a friend in the industry. But before we get into our guest today, I have my usual shout outs of all the things that I have to do. But I do want to ask you to please share this out live. Let everybody know this is going on. It's going to be a great show, great content, a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Del, thanks for showing up, buddy. Appreciate it. So please share this out now. Also, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, hit that bell, and you can watch all the past episodes. We've done over 50 shows at this point, believe it or not, between all the content that we have. So we've been really throwing it out there. Having said that, we are not the only podcast out there. There are some awesome ones out there. If you ever heard of the Nerd Byword podcast, you should really check it out. Chris and Dave, if you're looking for fun and nerdy way to make it through the quarantine, check out the Nerd Byword for all your nerdy content. We talk comic books, Star Wars, Star Trek, video games, and more. We also cover nerd news every week and give you weekly nerd commendations to help you find cool stuff. Every Monday they have a new episode. It's crack of dawn. They have it up for you to go check out. They're on all the channels that you could possibly see a podcast. So please check out Chris and Dave on the Nerd Byword. Great people, great podcast, true fans that would be a lot of fun to listen to. Also, we have some Kickstarters real quick. I want a shout out for some people. Divine Feather #1 is live in Kickstarter right now. It's an incredible story and has incredible art by Oscar Ramo, Tale of a Mexican mythology on the importance of family and the cycle of life. A story about Anam, an archaeologist who will find her connection with the gods. It's like Thor and Wonder Woman meets Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider in an adventure set in the glorious colors of Coco. So please go check that out. That's an awesome Kickstarter. And the other Kickstarter I'd like to shout out for you and let you know is Elysian Fields. So please go check that out. It's on Kickstarter. It's basically heroes of mythology against one another in an underworld tournament. So that's a cool Kickstarter to go check out. Please do that. Russ, how's it going? Del, Chris, thanks for all coming out. Appreciate it. It's going to be a fun show. Keith, my buddy Keith, I hope you're doing well. So a few quick shout outs after this. Android's Amazing podcast with Hunter and James is an awesome podcast. Please go check that out. They're on every channel you can think of as well. The Bitten Apple, Rafael Tavares Jr., go check them out. It Came from the Radio, Mark Torres and his crew. They're awesome. They're on as well. Please check them out. And of course, I just wanted to shout out Andy Lee, the wonderful human being that does so much for me, and I appreciate it. www.lesdudis.com. Everything pop culture and geek culture. Check that out, Andy Lee. Richard Jones, thanks for coming in. Jason, what's going on, man? How are you? How long are the commercials? Just a few minutes. A lot of people need a little love, and we want to get exposure for them. So just bear with me a minute, and then we're going to get to an awesome guest. I also want to just let you know, Art by Kike is the Instagram page. 8 p.m. Mondays, we have Inking with Kike. Enrique Lopez, he has a guest, and he inks. Go check that out every week. And my last plug before we get started, Kenny Calderon, how are you? Okay, so NSCLiveTV.com, the comic book network created for geeks by geeks, featuring live shows, comic shops, creators, podcasts, cosplay, news, and interviews. That's NSCLive.com. I have one more plug that unfortunately I don't have set up, but go check out. There's a lot of podcasters with Ninja Turtles and things like that. My next show, I will have their plug ready for them. Anyway, all the plugs are out of the way. People in the room, thank you so much. I'm glad I hope everybody had a great holiday. I'm glad you're here. Please share this out live right now, and we're going to get into this. So tonight, we have a great guest. He's an inker and, of course, a penciler. He does amazing commissions if you don't follow him on Instagram. He's inking some major artists on some major books right now. He's a top inker in the industry. He's coming into his own. I'm very proud and very happy for him. He's I consider him a friend. He's really one of the good guys in the industry, down-to-earth guy. And he's inked Rob Liefeld. He's done Major X, and he's done Hawk and Dove and Deathstroke the Terminator. And he's done Snake Eyes for IDW recently. He's on Brett Booth. He's done Bloodshot. And right now, awesome news, which he announced. He's doing some X-Men stuff. So we're gonna get into all of that tonight, and we're gonna have a blast, and it's gonna be awesome. So yes, Russ, absolutely. With no further ado, I welcome Adelso Corona. What's up?
What's up? What's going on, man?
Sorry for the long intro. I just try to give a lot of love to as many people as possible.
I appreciate that, man, and thanks for having me, bro.
Plus, we want to get everybody in this room. First of all, Adelso, if you see what he's doing, he's inking Brett Booth, but I think the two of you have been a fantastic combination. I mean, your edgy inks over his tight lines. I mean, you've really done a phenomenal job. The pages are beautiful.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, brother.
So, as you can see, everybody scrolling below are all of Adelso's handles. If you aren't already following, I really don't understand how, but go to those Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts and go follow. Anyway, are you getting that click when I speak? I'm hearing a click.
Yeah, I do. I get a little bit of a click, yeah.
Yeah, so do I. Anyway, so we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the X-Men. We're going to get into everything you've done. But I like to usually backtrack and start. And you are a fellow Queens person. We both grew up in Queens. You came from Corona.
Yep.
So a lot of love for that. How did you get your start in the industry, being a guy growing up in Corona, Queens?
Man, I've always drawn. I've always been my thing. I didn't do much else very well. I wasn't an athlete. I wasn't the most outspoken. I was kind of quiet and kind of a reserved kid. And I just always drawn. And the first it didn't really work out, but the first possible entry, I guess, to the industry would have been in 1993. I had entered, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a extreme talent search.
Yes.
For Extreme Studios, robliefeld studio. That was in 93. And they had a talent search, and I scraped together some samples, sent that in, and they called me about a week and a half later. I got a call from Eric Stevenson, who's now the publisher at Image, and he asked me to come out to Extreme to work with them. But the thing was, I was still in high school, and
really,
I honestly sent in the samples. I didn't really think anything was gonna come of it. I was like, all right, let me throw this out there. I had a couple pages done. And I'm like, I don't want to blow the chance. Who knows? It might take them a few months to get back to me. And I was graduating that June of 94. So I was about maybe 6 months away from graduating anyway. So I was like, all right, let me try this out. Who knows? And I got the call. And yeah, so it didn't really work out because I got the call from Eric Stevenson, like I said. And I was working, you remember Key Food?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I used to work at a Key Food on 103rd, right off the train station there, by Corona Plaza.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah. So I used to work. Now I think it's a Dwayne Reed, or that's what they made it when I was there. I don't even know what it is.
I don't know if it's still a Dwayne Reed though. I think it changed to something else.
Yeah,
maybe not.
So my uncle was here. My uncle, who's a fantastic artist, and his name is Roberto Vargas. Incredible artist, and he was going to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and he was on Christmas break, and he had gone to New York to spend Christmas with the family. And my mom asked him to pick me up, and when he picks me up, he goes, "Hey, dude, my uncle's only like 5 years older than me, by the way." And he's like,
"Okay,
yeah." it was my grandmother's miracle baby, and. Yeah, she was well into her 40s when she had him, so it's possible. And yeah, so then he goes, "Hey, you got a phone call from some guy in California." So I'm freaking out, and I'm honestly thinking like, "Oh, they're probably just calling to tell me, I didn't make it." I was like, "That's pretty cool of them to call me to tell me like I didn't make it or whatever." But So I got home and I called the number. They had taken the number for me, and I called, and it was Eric Stevenson. And I told him, hey, look, I'm still in high school. I graduate in June. And he was like, all right, now it's cool. We'll be in touch. And he goes, but do these 3 pieces for me. And they commissioned me to do a Prophet piece, a Supreme, and a Team Youngblood.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. It was like, you know, and especially in '93, like Image was everything.
Yeah, it was booming, and the
You
art
know?
was just incredible. I mean, it's very intimidating. How did you deal with that, being so young?
I freaked out, man. I freaked out. But my uncle was there, so it was like, it was kind of meant to be, because being that he was an artist too, like he kind of understood it, you know, like he was able to appreciate it probably more than anybody else in my household, you know. And the next day we went, and he took me to the arts. We went to, remember Pearls in Manhattan?
No, I don't remember.
Store? Yeah, it was a big art store. Anyway, he took me there. We bought the paper, and I did it. You know, it took me about a week. I'd say I did the 3 pieces and sent them in. The problem is, let me just, I think I'm being a little long-winded here, but the problem was that because I wasn't out of high school, obviously I couldn't go. So they kind of moved on, you know, and I don't blame them. You know, I'm not Stephen Platt, you know, so they're like,
he's so underrated, by the way. Oh.
So I was like, you know, so they kind of moved on, so things kind of cooled down a bit, and I kept in contact, but really nothing came out of it other than those 3 pieces, which actually I don't even think they published. And yeah, so that was the first kind of thing that got me kind of in the industry, but I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but that was my first little attempt.
But how was that? That was an emotional roller coaster. I mean, the excitement of, holy crap, they said yes, and then all of a sudden, oh man, it's the wrong time.
Yeah, dude, I was freaking out, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think I cried. Like,
I don't blame you.
You know, I'm kind of sensitive, so like I cried. That whole thing happened.
I think anybody would in that situation, though, if I would be honest with you. I mean,
yeah, but you know, I told all my friends about it. Like, it was a big deal, you know.
Well, you know what? I mean, I have to say, I met you, I think it's like 6 years ago now. It's been that long.
I don't know if it was 6 years, but something
4?
like that. Yeah, at least 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a story in itself.
Yeah, that was.
I'm not going to get into all that, but what I am going to
leave that one up to you, man.
Yeah, well, I've brought it up before, but I leave you at it. But
thank you.
So Adelso was in Artist Alley, and I met him, and I wanted to get him on my X-Men Jam piece, which is behind me with the Phoenix right there. He did Polaris right there where the pen is. Anyway, and he's inking it actually when he gets the chance, so that's going to be awesome. And I went up to Adelso and I forgot what I asked you. I said something, and you gave me, of course, you were totally playing, joking, like a sarcastic response. I can't
really hear you. That stutter is kind of rough.
Can you pop out and pop back in?
Go ahead. I think it's working now, so go ahead.
All right. If it gets bad, pop out and pop back in with that same link.
Okay.
So I don't remember what you said, but you were joking, and you said something and it playfully at me, and I came back with something like sharp right back at you, and you and your whole entourage just started laughing, and you and I just hit it off from there on.
Yeah, I actually remember what it was.
You do?
Yeah, I do kind of remember what it was. You gave me the last little figure on the piece. I was like, damn. Like,
that was right.
Afterthought much, and then that's when we started laughing. And
that's right. You were like, oh yeah, great, make me last or something like that. I was like, all right, forget it then. And I like joked around like I was gonna walk away. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Except to forget it wasn't the F word I used. Yeah. But no, it was great, and we met and we just hit it off from there, and it's been cool. I've been happy to see your career. I mean, before I met you, you'd already been published and done some great things, but you're really hitting your stride now, and I'm really happy for you.
That stutter is coming in hard. All right, go ahead. I think we're good now.
Pop out and come right back in.
All right, give me a second.
All right. So while we're waiting for Adelso to come back, just to give you guys a heads up, he had done Deadpool with Rob Liefeld, Bad Blood. he had done an issue of Hawk and Dove when Rob was with DC, and he did an issue of Deathstroke with Rob. He just did the Snake Eyes IDW book with Rob. He is currently doing X-Men, which, as you can see, he's doing Brett Booth's X-Men right now. He was doing Brett Booth's pencils. He was inking them on Bloodshot. If you haven't seen it, now I'm not a Bloodshot fan, but I collected the book just for the art and the inking. I really feel Adelso's got an edgy inking style, but he's really good on the detailed pencils like V. Ken Marion and Brett Booth. And I really think the two of them have been just a fantastic duo. If you haven't checked out the art, you have to really go look at his page or go buy the books and support. But as you can see, what he's doing there with the X-Men is just phenomenal. That's Brett Booth that he's inking over. And we got him back. Is it any better?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Might be my phone, though.
Anyway, yeah, and he's done a lot with Murata as well, like Blindside, which Murata is going to be bringing back Blindside. Are you going to have anything to do with that?
Absolutely.
That's what I figured.
That's my brother right there, man, for sure.
Yeah, Murata's a great guy. He's a great guy, actually, and he's been very successful on the indie scene. And Blindside is a book that I'm looking forward to seeing the return of, and of course, seeing your work on it. And you've just been steady, man. You've been working steady and steady. When you were off, I was telling everybody, catching them up on what you've been doing if they don't know already. So I'm just very happy for your success so far, and the sky's the limit where you're going to be going from there.
Thank you, man.
So you're in the industry. Rob Liefeld notices you apparently, and from there, you've become cool with Rob, and you do a lot of his work, and you do amazing work over his lines. But who are the artists that you feel influenced you the most or inspired you the most?
Oof. Well, obviously, I have to include Rob in that as well.
Wills, I know, right? Wills, I know. I know Wills is one of your favorites.
Oh, obviously, yeah. I was gonna say, like, it was, when I first started drawing I started drawing seriously maybe when I was about 13. So it was about like 90, like 90 around there, and 90, maybe 91, maybe. So a lot of the Image guys were the guys I was looking at. Those were the guys who got me excited about it. I was out of comic books for a while. I didn't really collect. I used to buy them as when I was younger, and then I stopped. And then the first book that got me back into it was Arthur Adams. Arthur Adams had Asgardian Wars. That I don't know if it that trade. And
I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was X-Men Asgardian Wars. It was incredible, and I remember thinking, like,
oh, Asgardian Wars. I'm sorry, I thought you said something else. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the accent's a little heavy sometimes. But yeah, so I started that was the first. My uncle actually had that book, and he showed it to me one day. A friend of his, I lent it to him, and I was like, man, what is this? Like, and at that point I think it was a little bit older already. Like, I don't think it was current, but I remember thinking, like, oh man, like, I don't remember comic books looking like this. And then from that point on, I started going to the local comic shop, which was Ramon's Comics. You've met Ramon, I think. And he started, and then I started seeing all the other books. I started seeing Rob's work, and I started seeing Will Spataccio's work, and Jim Lee, and Tom McFarlane, and Eric Larson. Like, the Image guys were basically it for me. Like, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. So those were the guys that really inspired me early on. Mark Bagley, as well. Like, those were the guys that inspired me. Those were the guys that got me kind of like, oh, maybe I can do this, and you know how it is. I mean, you're not an artist, but I mean, you start like copying their stuff, and those
right.
were the guys whose work I was copying. I was copying Jim Lee, Rob's work, and and McFarlane maybe not so much because his stuff seemed so like, so detailed that it was difficult for me to kind of emulate that style. But Will Spataccio was huge to me. At the beginning of that, when I started, really taking it seriously. And
his X Factor stuff was just gorgeous.
Dude, I think I've bought those books like 4 times each. Like, I literally have probably like 4 copies of each of those books.
Those
It's
covers
crazy.
alone are incredible. I mean,
No, it's that stuff. Will Potasio had a certain energy to him that I love Jim Lee stuff, but Will Potasio was the stuff that kind of grabbed me early because it was a certain type of like anime kind of quality to it. I don't know how to explain it. It was,
but edgy.
yeah, it was edgy and it wasn't so perfect. Like Jim Lee kind of has like a very commercial kind of,
Right,
I don't
clean.
know. There's something about the imperfection that I liked.
And what's funny is it's like imperfection yet with these tight lines that just look dynamic and explosive, right? I mean, just look at the way you did Iceman, the ice around the wrists and everything,
Yes,
and
exactly.
yeah, he just had this dynamic way. He still does.
Yeah, he had like the long necks and like everything looked like elongated and slightly exaggerated. And the guys looked really bulky, and the girls were strong but sexy, and it was, I don't know. That's the stuff that really got me. So those are the guys who inspired me early on.
Yeah, Wilson's behind me right now on the wall. He's on that with the Iceman that you're inking, and on the other one you inked already the Bishop.
The Bishop.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, so you got to get him to do Bishop, of course.
Yeah.
I got a few comments and questions I'm going to go through while we're doing this. Raphael says hello. Raphael Tavares.
Oh, yeah, that's my man, Dominicano.
Yeah. Raphael is the one that was there when we met.
That's right. He was the witness.
He was the one who put me live. I'm on YouTube to this day.
I remember I didn't want to be part of that.
Yeah, and you didn't, and I made it clear you had nothing to do with that. It was in front of your table because I stole Raphael from you.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, well, you know me. I don't shut my mouth when I should.
That's what I like about you, man.
I guess someone's got to like it.
It's that New York quality.
That's funny. Keith Brunswick was praising your work on Snake Eyes.
Oh, thank you, Keith. Appreciate that.
And Dante, I don't believe that's a page from the X-Men right now. I believe it's a commission, right? That you're inking.
Yeah, I thought I'd do something. Yeah, I can't show any of the pages. I'll show actually in a little bit if you want to. I'll show some of the pages that I have.
Whatever you're allowed to without getting in trouble.
Yeah. I'll show it in a little bit. But no, this is a private commission, so that's why I decided to do that here.
Yeah, I gotta get a Brett Booth commission. I want them on my jam pieces, damn it. Dante wants to know when are issues 4 and 5 of Snake Eyes coming out? They're running late.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's not really up to me. That's up to the people at IDW, and that's not really my. I'm just the inker, man. They send me pages, I ink them, and that's really up to them. I don't really know, to be completely honest. I don't have a set schedule or anything like that. So
Raphael had brought it up. If you want to see the video I'm talking about when I first met Adelso, go to the Bit and Apple on YouTube and type in New York Comic-Con fan versus Neil Adams. So go type that in, and you'll see us look at Adelso, but he's off camera hiding because he's like, I have no part in this shit.
No.
And he didn't. I promise you, he didn't. Joe Tolliver says, "What's that?"
I said I had nothing to do with that one.
No, you were just in the wrong place at the right time.
Yeah, I know.
Joe Tolliver, he has a great show, Comics Cast, by the way. I meant to shout that out at the beginning. He had a show this afternoon at 1 o'clock. It's a great show. Go check it out. He says he recognizes that inking from 2 miles away. Stunning as always.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And I got to check out your show.
Sure. You should, Comics Cast. Check it out if you got some free time. I don't know if they, whatever their slot is, but talk to Joe Tolliver.
All right.
Adelso inks Brett's actual drawings. Did Rob send his actual pages, or do you ink blue line scans?
Yeah, with Rob, I work from scans. Yeah, I work from scans.
So Brett's aren't blue lines?
No, this commission is blue line only because the owner. I actually have the original to this with me as well, but the owner wanted to keep the pencils, so he asked
like me
if I wouldn't mind. Inking over blue lines. But no, everything. Brett sends me pages every week or every 2 weeks.
Oh.
I get a package of pages.
Oh, yeah. Then I really need those. I really need those.
Brett and me do it old school.
Hell yeah. I love that. Now,
no,
is there pressure on you for that? Because it's not a blue line. This is one and done. I mean, I know you got the white pens and things like that, but is there any pressure on you inking, the actual pencils?
Yes and no. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit, because it's like, all right, I can't mess this one up. I can't print it out again. But I don't really ink my blue lines with that kind of. I'm not cavalier about it either way.
But you're not thinking safety net. You're just doing your job.
I don't look at a piece and just because some blue line think, oh well, it doesn't really matter if I screw this one up because I could print it again. No, I don't want to do that page again. I want to get it done. So
Gotcha.
I do a good job on it. I try to do my best on it, regardless of whether or not it's pencils originals or if it's a file. So yeah, I guess maybe there's subconsciously there might be a little bit more pressure on the originals because you don't really want to, you have no kind of backup. But
right.
I don't know. I kind of tackle it all the same, to be completely honest.
Well, I mean, Brett's been loving your work on it, and you've been doing a fantastic job. So it's all working.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, your phone has got some audio issues going on. So how do you and Brett break up the split for who gets what pages if you're inking over the original pages? How does that work with sales and everything?
Well, there's a kind of a system. I think Brett and I are using the DC system. It's kind of like one, I like every third page I get or whatever. It's kind of a 2/3 split. Usually the penciler gets 2/3 of it, and then obviously the inker gets a third of it. And
gotcha.
We kind of have a set system as far as the pages. So
Russ says you have to duel. Russ says you have to duel.
You have to duel. Yeah, like a fight. Yeah, to get out.
Jason's saying he can barely hear you. Is anybody else having issues hearing Adelso? I'm hearing him clear, but I'm getting a clicking. It sounds like, you ever see that movie Signs? The clicking that those aliens did?
Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah. I got alien interference.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, it's all right. While you're doing that, I mean, just look at that. That's just gorgeous. Man, Brett is one of my favorite pencilers, and you're one of my favorite inkers, and to have you guys working together is just phenomenal. Oh, Ron Wilson is calling me right now. Sorry, Ron, I can't pick up. Yeah, I know, Alfred. I'm sorry. We're trying to work out the static issue. Hope you all stay in the room, hang out. We're just working out the audio, and we're going to get into talking with Adelso some more. Yeah, like a cat's chewing on a wire. Okay. Is my cat here somewhere? Go ahead, Adelso. You were saying? Oh, we lost him. Yeah, he dropped out before, Joe, twice. Well, once, but yeah, that's bad.
Still?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm still getting that. It's not as bad, though. Tell us what the audio is doing for you guys. Let us know. So, I don't know if people are aware, but obviously, your published work is all inking, but you're a phenomenal penciler as well. You do a lot of commissions and some beautiful work, and I've watched your style change over the years with your penciling. Would you ever want to be published as a penciler, like a cover or even sequentials?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm actually doing some covers now. I did the cover for Bloodshot number 10, and I also did the cover for Bloodshot number 12. Number 10 is out there. You can probably see that online. Number 12.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a beautiful cover.
Thank you, man. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm actually doing some indie work as well. I'm doing something with my boy Murat, and you'll see my pencils in there as well. It's just one of those things where it's like I have to find the time for it because I'm so busy with the inky right now. But obviously, yeah, for sure, I would love to do more penciling. if it's on covers or interiors. The interiors is really what I want to challenge myself with. It's been so long since I've done it,
Right.
and I really want to go in that direction as well. Why not? I think I can do it.
If you could do sequentials on a book, what title would that be?
Ooh. I'll be completely honest with you. If I was going to do sequentials, I would rather do it on something of my own.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that something we can look for in the future?
Yeah. Don't cancel it out. I'm definitely. It was supposed to happen sooner, to be honest with you, but because of everything that's been happening, I've had to kind of put that on the back burner. But
well, dude, you just had deadline after deadline after deadline all year.
Yeah, but it's been kind of in the works, I mean, I've always wanted to kind of do something creator-owned and, at least with some more involvement as far as the designs go. I've always liked designing characters, something that I've always kind of really liked to tackle and kind of put my little spin on things. So, yeah, that's something I definitely would want to do. And
do you have ideas written down, or do you have a script for your own thing, or?
No, I don't have any scripts or stuff like that. I've had ideas as far as character designs, and Murad and I actually discussed some stuff. So, it might be a collaborative effort. I don't know if I'm going to jump in and do it by myself, because that's kind of a huge undertaking. But
you got to get Sajad in on that, because he's another killer penciler that you got to see on a book, man.
Oh, he's amazing. That's my man. But yeah, he's amazing too, man. It's great. I mean, those guys inspire me. Look, they're two of my closest friends. I don't really, and I don't take that lightly. But they're inspiring to me as well. Just as their talent. Their talent is crazy. It's
Yep.
Murad's storytelling. It's John. Obviously, you see what he does. It's it's all inspiring to me. I get to hang out with these guys and talk and all that stuff. But as a fan, I get to see their stuff kind of firsthand, and you can't help but to be influenced and inspired by that.
Well, I gotta tell you, to me, Sajad is one of the best pencilers in the industry, and he's got to be one of the most underrated pencilers in the industry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
I mean, 100%. He's got those tight lines, but yet there's a softness about what he draws. It just looks like, I don't know, it's just masterful. It's beautiful.
No, yeah, definitely.
And speaking of the devil, Murad is here. He said, Adelso!
My man. What's up, brother?
We were just talking about you, Murad. He said, I love you, my brother.
Love you, kid.
Man, all those bad things you were saying about him before he came on, too.
Nah. Murad knows that's not true, man. It's always
nothing but love from both of us for Murad. I got nothing but great things to say about Murad, and I won't get into that now because this is the Adelso show, but Murad is one of the good guys in the industry, too.
Nah, man,
your whole crew is awesome. Ace is hilarious. Sajad is a nice guy. You're a nice guy. Murad, your whole crew is a cool bunch of guys. So
I think that's why we kind of connected. I think there's a genuine quality with us. There's no really dramatic bullshit. We're not divas. Nobody's kind of on it. It's we're all pretty
well,
cool.
Ace can be kind of a diva. I mean, he wanted green M&Ms only when he did my show, and
yeah, I know how he does.
Oh, Roberto's here too. He says, "Looking good, bro."
Roberto, what's up, brother?
So, you've done a lot of work with Rob, and you continue to do a lot of work with Rob. You got the call from Major X at the time. How did that feel? Because it is an X Universe book. It was big to have, Rob back in the X Universe, and here you are. You're inking some of the issues, and how was it getting that call?
Yeah, that was actually that was a text from Rob. That was a. It's always great to work with Rob. Obviously, the fanboy in me is always, there's always kind of freaked out by it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm working with Rob, and at that time with Major X, Rob and I weren't really working together for a while, just because everybody was kind of doing their own thing.
Right.
So when I got that text from him and said, "Hey, I got this new thing going on. You got some time." It was obviously, a great thing. Like, who's gonna say no to that? you know, and it's a
Right.
new character, and we all know. Look, one of the things that I've always absolutely loved about Rob's work is the way he creates characters. You know, he has a gift for it. You know, it's so to work on a brand new character for Marvel in the X universe, with Rob, like, what else can I want? You know, so of
Right.
course, so yes, and you know, it always takes me a couple of hours to kind of like, I always freak out a little bit. I do a little happy dance, you know. Yeah, why not? I'm not too proud. I live by myself. It's cool, and you know,
I'm pantsless when I'm doing it too. I'm in my boxers.
you know what I'm saying. So
He's got his
yeah,
Transformers underoos on, people.
yeah. No, it's amazing. It's amazing, bro. It's an amazing experience. It always is with him. You know, I really can't. Rob has been great to me over the years, and he believed in me early. You know, I didn't really get to finish the story before, but even in the '90s, like, I would see Rob at signings in New York in the late '90s, and he would remember me. One of the things that Rob amazes me with is his memory. Like, you know, he would remember me, and I'd be like, "Oh, oh yeah, so what's going on?" You know, and it was just always like that with him. So I've always had a little bit of a, you know, I've always felt like indebted to him, you know, for so much, and he's always shown me a lot of support, and I got nothing but love for the man. So
I don't know him well, but I do have to say I've had two interactions with him. One was last year at New York Con, and he had a line of 100 and something people. I've told this story before, and the respect he showed me and the time he gave me, I was actually surprised. I didn't expect him to do that. And then when I was talking to David, he still was involved. He didn't have to step over, talk to me, shake my hand. He was, he really gave me respect and attention at that moment when he was really in the thick of things with hundreds of people online. So I always appreciated that. Um, and I do love that Major X brought back some of that 90s action, going on, because I do miss some of that in comics. I mean, obviously, I love the well written stories and everything, but sometimes I just want to have a good spandex free for all. You know what I mean? And that
yeah,
didn't sound
absolutely.
right, but I mean comic books.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, my man, I don't judge. It's cool. Do your thing, homeboy.
By the way, a few people said hello. John Ottinger, hello, buddy. How are you? He says hi.
What's up?
Michael Warensky, how are you, man? He says hello.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Thanks for coming in. Dante wanted to ask, so you discussed the DC page split, but how's it work with the Marvel split in your experience?
No, it works the same. It's just different systems, is what I said. I guess it's a DC system. So we decided there's a couple different options. It's really not that intricate, you know. The page count kind of remains the same. You know,
Right.
I don't get any more pages or less depending on what system you use. But I said DC system because that's really what Brett was familiar with, and he suggested it and he broke it down to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. You know, I'm pretty easy, man. I'm not a difficult person, so I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, as long as I get my pages, and so
Well,
yeah,
I gotta say, you've worked for all these publishers. I mean, have you ever done work for Dark Horse? Because otherwise, you've done everybody else, right? I mean,
yeah. I did Shaper for Darko with
that's
Ace.
right. Yes, you
With
did.
Ace.
So
Yeah.
then the only thing left is Dynamite.
Yeah, I don't think I've done anything for Dynamite.
So you
Yeah.
worked for every other major publisher. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, man. No, I'm super grateful, and I'm always humbled by that, man. And yeah, it's a good thing.
Are there a lot of vast differences between the publishers, how they work, their deadlines, their editors, like things like that?
Um, I haven't really noticed any major differences. I guess because I think the differences between editors and all that, you seem to kind of find that stuff out maybe in times of friction. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because I don't know, it feels like in my experience, I haven't had any major deadline issues. I haven't had any major like fallouts with anybody. So it's all pretty standard to me. You know, they give me a deadline, here are the pages. And I work with good people too that don't usually screw me. So I don't
Right.
usually I don't usually have to wait on pages to get penciled. I don't have that kind of issue. So in
Right.
my experience, they've all been pretty much, you know, kind of standard. I mean, Marvel's a bit more structured, obviously. It's a bigger company, and the deadlines are a bit more rigid, I guess. And but and they can be stressful. But no, I don't have any like major. I didn't even notice any major differences. I've been pretty cool, and I've worked with really cool editors. And if I ever needed something, they were usually always there for me. So no,
Cool. That's good to
I don't have
hear.
any. Yeah, yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any like crazy stories or anything like that. I'm
Hey,
not.
when
I'm
you
not.
have no complaints about editors, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not really. I'm not really a dramatic dude, so I kind of keep it all pretty professional. I do what I have to do, and I don't have to bring out that side of the editors, I guess.
By the way, Dante, you're right. I forgot Xenoscope and Aspen as well, but he's done all the big guys. So, by the way, Raphael had mentioned earlier that there was a character that he wanted to reach out to you at some point if you have time eventually to help him with. I forgot what that question was. Oh, I really want to get you to do a character that I am working on as a commission. But well, when you're free at deadlines, you might want to reach out to Raph.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Michael Warinsky wants to know if you do video game characters by chance.
No, I think I might have done a couple of video game characters like as like sketches for like family friends and stuff like that. But no, I haven't really done any video game stuff.
Are there any writers, major writers in the industry? I mean, I know besides Marat, you of course work with Marat and would love to, but any other writers that you would really love to work with that you haven't had the opportunity yet?
No, honestly no. I don't have any. I'm not that informed with the writers. Being complete. I'm not. I'm being completely honest with you. I don't really, because to me, it's always been kind of a visual medium.
Right.
Comic books has always been to me the visuals, and I know that maybe some people don't want to hear that, and maybe people say like I have a feeling that some people give answers to questions like that might not be all. I'm going to tell you the truth. I've never really bought a comic book for the writer. And
Okay.
that's now no disrespect. That's no disrespect to anybody. It's just I've always bought comic books depending on the art. So I don't have any like, oh, I would love to work with this writer. Obviously, I know the guys who are big time. When I was doing the recent thing with Chris Claremont, that's awesome because I know what Chris Claremont is, to the X-Men and what he does to Marvel Comics, and I know that part of it. But am I
Right.
sitting down like, oh man, I would love to work with this writer or this writer? Like, no, not really, because to me, my focus has always been on the art.
So who are artists that you haven't had the privilege or opportunity to work with that you would love to work with?
Oof, there we go. Now we're cooking. All right. It was obviously I'm gonna say my number one that I have not worked with. Actually, I have two. Um, and again, it's Image guys. It's Will Spatasio.
I knew that was coming. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, that's my number one, man. I'm not gonna lie. And then there's Mark Silvestri.
Oh yeah. Mark,
Yeah, Mark.
listen, I don't I don't know. I know Mark gets a lot of love, but he is incredible his pencils and don't get me wrong, Jim Lee's amazing too, but Mark Silvestri is just mind-blowing.
Yeah,
He is so good that he did a Gotham City uh, splash page, and that was mesmerizing to me. And all it was a city background. I mean, that's when you know the man can draw. When I would
no, that
buy
dude
it,
could
and it's
draw,
just a
man.
city picture.
Yeah, that dude could draw. Look, I want to say Jim Lee too, but the thing there's a little bit of a thing with Jim Lee. It's just I think because he's inked by like the master of all inkers, I
Yeah.
think there's a little bit of intimidation there. So it's almost like, and look, dude, Mark Silvestri and Will Spatasio has obviously been inked by Scott Williams as well. Like they both have, and they've
Yep.
both worked with other inkers that are incredible. I loved Joe Weems over Will Spatasio,
Yeah.
and Mark Silvestri. I love Matt Banning over
Yep.
Mark Silvestri. I can't take anything away from any of those guys, but I don't know. I think I have to throw in Jim Lee in there just because who knows if that ever comes. You got to put it out there, right, in the universe and see if it
Sure.
comes back to you. But yeah, there are guys out there I would love to
What
work
about
with.
Finch?
Finch, yeah, Finch is another one. Like You know who I've always wanted to ink as well, and I don't think I'll get the chance to because these guys either ink themselves or already have their guys, but Finch is one of them, so thank you for that. And
Ross even mentioned him.
Joe Benitez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Joe Benitez is another guy I would love to.
He's another excellent artist.
Yeah. And I know there's some that I'm forgetting, but I know later after I get off of this, I'll be thinking back, like, damn, I should have named like these.
You're gonna text me later. You're gonna text me later. This guy.
Hey, by the way, can you guys hear me better?
Is everything okay with the audio, guys? It'll take a few seconds from the. I think there's a delay on Facebook when they type, so we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. So look, let's get into it. How did you? Oh, Ed Bennis is another great one.
Oh yes.
Raphael says the audio is better.
Okay. Perfect.
So you're doing work with Rob and things are going well and Snake Eyes and everything, and of course you were at the same time you're working with Brett. But how'd you get hooked up with Brett Booth?
Oof, I actually, you know who I owe my collaboration with Brett Booth to? Andrew Dahlhaus.
Oh really? Great colorist.
The colorist.
Yeah.
Who's worked with Brett for years. I've always loved Brett's work. And I would download images, I would Google Brett Booth or whatever, and I'd get like these low-res images. If you ever Google his sketches, there's a million of them online, and I would take those and I would blue line them. And kind of for fun, I would kind of ink them, in my spare time. I think I would do them on my Instagram lives and stuff like that. Nothing official. It was just me kind of having fun with it, And I figured, it was part of me. I was like, yeah, I think our lines kind of match up, the way we kind of attack these things. And then I would post them. And again, these were taken from low-res files.
Right. So no, we understand. And you're not selling or anything. It was just to practice.
No, but what I mean by that is they weren't great quality.
Right.
I was kind of like almost making up stuff as I went as well because not everything was clear. And I think Andrew, I don't think, I know, Andrew was like, hey, Brett, check this guy out. He inks your stuff from like these low-res files, but he was really impressed with it. And he actually told me this, so I can say this. He was like, look at what he does from low-res files. And then Brett was like impressed with it. This is what Andrew told me. Brett was impressed, and he was like, oh man, like maybe we should do something. And then I forgot what it was. And then Brett asked Andrew to contact me to see if I would be interested in inking his Creatorcon book.
That is awesome.
Yeah, which was Parsec.
Yeah.
And he was like, you want to ask him? Because me and Andrew had some interaction. Actually, let me go back a little bit. Andrew, seeing what I was doing with Brett from the low-res files, Andrew had me ink a Nightwing commission that Brett had done for him.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, he's kind of leaping over a building,
and
that was
he had the longer hair.
Yeah, that was over the original. Andrew actually sent me that, and then I also did Vic and Mary in Peace with all the milestone characters. That was a double page. I did that for Andrew as well. So by the time this whole thing happened, like me and Andrew had had plenty of interaction. So Brett asked him, hey, ask him if he'd be interested in doing my book with me. And that's how I started, and then when Bloodshot came about, they asked him who would he want to ink it. He suggested me, and they reached out to me, and the rest is history, But so that's how it started. It started from me doing these little sketches that I was downloading online, blue lining, and kind of doing for fun.
Keep that in mind, everybody. Any of you artists out there that are plugging away, just keep putting it out there. You just got to get seen.
Yep, exactly. And it just took that right person to be like, yeah, it's one of those things. But again, like I think we were having a conversation before we even got on. It's like I've never been a guy to do shortcuts. I've always kind of inked everything with the same kind of effort. And even those little files weren't exactly great, and they weren't for anything official, and there was no pressure really. I still inked them as though they were professional work. I still put in the time.
Well,
To
what
make
you put
sure
on
that,
that page is your resume. It's what's speaking for you.
yeah, exactly. So I would only post it if I was proud of it, and I didn't really want to waste my time.
Right.
So I put in the work, and somebody noticed, and
That is awesome.
that's kind of how it happened.
And I don't know if anybody's seen those pages for Bloodshot, but my God, they're gorgeous. I mean, don't get me wrong, the colors are fantastic too, but when you see a page, an inked page that just pops and just the lines are so clean and tight and it just shouts at you, man. Those pages do that. And I noticed you ink to really keep yourself sharp and to really be in tune to who it is you're inking. You're constantly doing inks of their commissions, their work, etc., so that you can really fine tune and craft and really meld well in your collaboration, which I commend you on that. I mean, that's really putting in the time,
Yeah. Again, I attack the commissions just as I do any page for publication. It's the same, which is probably why I get so many. I'm blessed and I'm grateful, and I say this humbly. Like, I do get a lot of requests for commissions, and that's probably why. Because there is that time and effort put into it. And again, I'm completely humbled by it. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah, I have a Nightcrawler up on my Nightcrawler wall from you that you did for me, 9x12. I remember I picked it up in Jersey. I came out to see you.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, I got that up there. I love it. It's my wife. It's one of her favorite pieces up there, and I got a Scott Williams up there too. She loves your Nightcrawler though.
That was Zap Comics, right?
Zap, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think it's been awesome. So let's get to it. The call for X-Men, man. You're doing some X-Men stuff. You can't get into details, but what you can tell us. Let's talk about it. How did that come about? What's going on?
That was actually pretty simple. That was just an email from Marvel. That was they reached out.
Did they see you two working on Bloodshot and ask for the two of you together, or?
No, I'm pretty sure. No, the way it worked, I'm pretty sure is Brett committed to the project, and then Brett again. This is the same kind of thing with Bloodshot, where he asked for me, and I had done work for Marvel before, so I was already in their system and all that. So
right,
they just reached out and said, "Hey, Adelso, are you available?" And of
awesome.
course, what am I going to say? No, of course. I was like, hell's yeah.
Nick, I'll pass. I'm good.
Next time.
I got a lot of commissions to do, I got this jam I got to ink. Sorry, guys, can't do it.
Yeah, I've been on it for 3 years. You're good.
that is awesome. No, it really is awesome. I'm glad to see. So, tell us about it. What are you going to be doing for the X books?
What do you mean?
Well, are you allowed to tell us what on the X-Men you're doing, or we have to leave it blank for now? We can't get specific.
We did X-Men 17.
Right.
Right. And then so that should be out, not exactly sure when, but it should be soon. And then we're also doing X-Men Legends.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know what we could talk about, so I'll leave that to you.
No, that's fine because that's already out there. They've made those announcements and everything is good. So
okay.
Yeah, so we're working on X-Men Legends, which is X-Men 17 is awesome. It was, I can't do this, kind of surreal, like I'm that kid who like grew up watching these Image guys draw these X-Men books, and in those days X-Men was everything.
Yep.
That was the pinnacle. There was X-Men,
flagship title from Marvel.
Yeah, so it was like, so there's a large part of me and it is very much kind of in that style. As Brett is from that era as well.
Mm-hmm.
So to ink these books that I've always kind of dreamt of doing, and with Brett Booth, like it's kind of surreal, kind of weird, and just there's those times where I have to kind of pinch myself and be like, damn, bro, like, whenever I find myself sort of complaining about life, I'm like, nah, man, look what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, every good thing still has its downside. We're all human. Of course, it isn't easy.
Of course, but if you don't look at the positives, you can get lost in the negatives.
Right.
So when those deadlines are coming and I'm tired and I haven't slept and all that's starting to kind of come in on me, it's like, dude, look what you're doing. You know, like
12
a lot.
pages in a week? Jesus.
Don't
12.
remind me, man.
He did 12 pages in a week, guys.
I slept for like 12 hours the night after I was done with that deadline.
So if you see some like posts from Adelso that seem down and sad, it's probably because he's friggin' exhausted.
Nah, I stayed away from social media altogether, man. You don't want that side of me.
Dude, I'm afraid to text you too late, and like I know he's up, and he's probably grinding right now. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I should text him or not.
Nah, you're good. Hey, if I don't get back to you, you know where I'm at. So
yeah, if you're not taking a 40-minute cat nap just to get through the next 12 hours, right?
That's how I got through it. That's plain and simple. I was sleeping like basically 3 hours a night, and then taking little naps in between pages, and that's how.
I mean, how does that affect your eyes though? Because you need to be detailed when you're inking, especially guys like Brett.
Yeah, and no, it's tough. That's why I take those naps. You know, like it does. I know it sounds like some old man shit, but it's true. It's those little naps helped me, and like there were pages where I maybe had an hour left on them, and I was like, I don't have an hour left in me. Like I don't have it in me. And then I would have to go and kind of take a half-hour nap, close my eyes, maybe not even sleep, just kind of get my eyes off of it.
Right.
And then sit on the couch for 30 minutes and kind of let it kind of recharge me a little bit, and then get back to the page, because there are times where you don't have that hour in you. I'll be honest.
Now, even if it's not a tight deadline, I'm sure every artist has come across this. Have you ever felt just unmotivated to tackle a page any given day?
Absolutely.
How do you deal with that? How do you overcome that? I mean, how would you recommend somebody overcome that?
It happens all the time, by the way. It happens more often than you think. With me, it's the deadline. I've always prided myself on being a pretty responsible person. Not perfect, but responsible. So when I know that, hey, I need to get this done, and when I know, hey, Brett brought me onto this project and I can't make him look bad, and I know that people are depending on me, like I get it done. And that's what motivates me. It's not about, I don't always feel inspired. I
what
really
about
don't.
if you don't have that deadline though to inspire you? Say it's a commission. Yeah, say you have a commission or something that when you get it done, you get it done. How do you motivate yourself to get up and get it done?
I don't know, man. It's something like you have to kind of dig deep. I know it sounds corny and like super cliche, but you have to get it from somewhere. I don't know. Sometimes I
hear the Rocky music. Listen. I hear the Rocky music. Listen.
Sometimes you know what it is though too. Sometimes when I don't feel motivated like that, if I sit down and just get into it, it seems to kind of come back a little bit, and then you kind of get a rhythm, and that's a large part of it too. And another part is just, hey, dude, sometimes I always kind of tell myself, and I always heard this, people say this, like they say, what's it say, inspirations for amateurs or something like that. Yeah, I've heard that so many times that kind of, I keep that in mind. And
if you have to be inspired, then you shouldn't be doing this.
Exactly. Like, and it's true. Like, if I waited to be inspired for everything, I wouldn't get anything done.
Right.
It's not easy to get inspired. It's not easy to go back to that page day after day and put in those, 16 hours. I mean, it's common to put in 16 hours in a day.
And it's tough on your eyes, your back, your neck, and just socially to be alone and isolated in a studio for so many hours. I mean,
yeah, I have to binge watch just to kind of get through it. Like I put on things on the computer that I've watched before, because it just helps me kind of, I don't know, the background noise helps keep me constant. I don't know how to explain it, but
no, I get it. I get it. You need that connection to something outside of your own mind sometimes to get it done. I get that totally.
And there are times, I'll be honest with you, I'm sorry to cut you off, but let me just get this out. There are times where I work in silence. There are times, not a lot,
Yeah.
because sometimes it just becomes, sometimes it's so overwhelming that I don't know if anybody else has felt this, but I feel like I don't even want to hear anything. And I
Right.
think everything, it gets exhausted. All my senses are exhausted, and I'm like, I just want to get this done. And sometimes I turn everything off, and there's nothing to hear. It's easier for me to concentrate.
Right.
So the point of me saying that is that you have to find a way to get through it. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be fun. You're going to be tired. You're going to be you're going to have things in your life going on. We're still human beings, and we have personal issues, and you got family stuff going on. You got bills to pay, and life has a way of kind of taking it out of you sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But you have to get through it, because if you don't, you're never going to get anything done.
That's true. And then you're not going to be paying those bills.
Exactly. And then you're going to have another headache. So yeah. Pick your heart is what people say, right?
Now another thing that I often think about is, I mean, and you may not see it this way, but there's a certain level of celebrity to artists these days. With social media being what it is, and with movies taking from the comic stories, celebrity status has really increased with a lot of people in the comic book community, in the industry. You have a great resume, of course, and it's just growing and growing. And like I said, you're really coming into your own. I mean, you have a big following on Instagram, and you're really getting out there and being one of the premier inkers in the industry. How do you deal with that celebrity? I mean, you're a humble guy, and you're home alone in your studio all the time. But the next thing you know, on Instagram and Facebook, you're getting all these likes and compliments and all this stuff. I mean, how do you deal with that? Because it's like people act like they know you when you don't even know who the hell they are, just because there's so many people.
Yeah.
You know?
Um, I'm not. First of all, I'm not affected by it. I'm really not. I think part of it has to do with the fact that I broke in maybe when I was a bit older. Um, I've I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard thing to answer, because I think there's still that kid in me. I'm a grown ass man, but like there's still that kid in me that feels like I'm still so appreciative of everything, that none of that stuff gets to me. It doesn't really affect me. Like, I don't know. Like, I remember in high school, maybe it's just my personality. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know. I remember in high school, I had a friend, really close friend of mine, and he used to tell me, Adelso, you're too down to earth. And I always found that to be so silly, because isn't that the point? Like, you don't want to be a dick.
Right.
You don't want to be like, I never understood that part of it. And then there is part of me that kind of sees, well, then maybe I should have been this way. Maybe I would have gotten more girls. Maybe it would have been, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know, man. I just, honestly,
we go in Sizzler.
Yeah. I just do what I do, man. That stuff, look, I appreciate every like, I appreciate every comment from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Like, I don't take any of it for granted. But do I look at that as validation for who I am or what I do? No, I don't. I do my best, and I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm grateful for where I've gotten, and for the notoriety, I guess. Like, I appreciate it all, but it doesn't define me. It really does not define me. I do what I do because I love what I do, and if it brings people joy, then that to me is great and amazing. But I'm not, I don't base who I am or what I am, or like, on that kind of stuff. I just don't, because if you let that get to you, then you become the asshole.
Right.
You become the pretentious. I've seen a lot of this online
Oh
with
yeah.
artists that think way too much of themselves, and I'm like, my man, and look, what we
Try
do
being
is
a
hard.
promoter. Try being a promoter at Adelso.
What we do is hard. I don't want to downplay what the artist does. I don't want to take away from us.
Sure.
Obviously, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, it's like, we do what we do. It's nothing. It's I just don't know how to explain it. It's just not me to be so affected by it. You know, I don't see myself as anything other than Adelso, the kid from Corona, Queens, you know, who always wanted to draw
Right.
comic books, and now he's doing it, you know, professionally, you know, at hopefully a high level, and that's it. You know, it doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I don't see myself as that, and I don't think artists should see themselves as anything greater than anything else. Like,
Right.
you know, you can take pride in yourself. You can take pride in the work you do.
Sure,
You know,
but proud but humble.
yeah, but keep it humble, man. We wouldn't be anywhere without people buying the books, without people
Exactly.
commissioning us. We wouldn't be anywhere. People to coming to the conventions. We would not be anywhere. We'd be sitting there by ourselves, looking at our faces. Like nothing would happen without people. So I don't let that kind of thing get to me. You know.
Couple of things. Marat said we get treated to the finest food at 7-Eleven. I love it. You know that story, right? Do you know that story?
No, I don't, but I could imagine.
I'll give it a quick. No, it's me. Marat came to my last show. I'll say this. I'll tell this quickly because I told it before.
You mean the one that I canceled
No, no,
last
the
minute?
one that. No offense, but there was two of them. But
I was one of them. Okay, it's okay. We can get it out there. We're getting it all out.
yeah, it was the one last October. But anyway, so Marat came. The poor guy, his flight got canceled. It was delayed or something like that. It was like
Oh,
he was
that's
on the
right. I
frick.
remember that.
He was on a plane the whole damn day with layovers and you know
I
what?
remember
He
that.
could have just turned around and he didn't. And I'll always appreciate that. And I know that he probably wanted to. I mean, I know he wanted to, but he stuck to his word, and I that means a lot to me because unless you can't, obviously, if there's deadlines or whatever, the fact that he stuck to his word, I appreciate. So he comes in, but he came in so late. I was going to take him to dinner, and he came in so late, nothing was open, so everything was closed. It's like 10,
7-Eleven
it's
it
like
is.
11 at night. So I'm like, so Marat, what do you want to do? I'll get you whatever you want to eat. And he's like, well, I guess that 7-Eleven's the only thing open. We'll go there. So he's gonna get 7-Eleven sandwiches or beef jerky or some shit, and
Hey,
and I'm giving
man.
him the. So he got the best treatment at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, no, we've done it, bro. Hey, Marat knows what's up. We've done that before. That's nothing new to us. You know,
Yeah,
we're
but I
getting
want
late for
to.
these flights.
I wanted to take him to a steak dinner or something because again, he's done a lot of good things for me. A
Yeah,
lot. I
Marat's the
mean, I
man.
could list them right now. A lot, and I will always appreciate Marat. I mean that sincerely. I'm not kidding.
No, Marat's a good dude, man. Marat's one
No,
of those
he's a
people
great dude.
that's a sincere, genuine. Look, let me tell you something. While we're on the subject of inking and all that stuff, like Marat was the first guy. That's why I always credit him with this because he was the first guy who told me, "Hey, have you ever tried inking anybody else?" He was literally the first person to ever ask me that, and
Yeah.
I was like, no, not really. Like I've always just inked my own stuff. You know, I never saw myself as an inker. I inked my own stuff out of like pure necessity. And he gave me a shot. He gave me it was an Alpha Flight piece.
Love Alpha
That
Flight.
yeah, he sent me it, and I blue lined it. I didn't even have a printer back then. I used to go to Kinko's, and they would print it out for me, and I'd work on that, and that was my sample. And then we worked on something else. I forgot the title of it. It was a smaller book I did finishes on with him, and then we started doing the Phantom covers. But man, Marat, if you're listening, man, you're responsible for a lot, man. And I know I've told him this before. This is not something that I'm just saying here, but I just want to reiterate that, man. And those are the things that keep you humble, man. When you
Dude,
look back and you see what people have done, and yeah, just wanted to say that, man.
he gives the littlest guy the biggest chance. I mean,
Yeah,
he without question, he doesn't even ask for anything in return. He helps out. Again, he did some big things to help me out, and I'll always be grateful and appreciative. And he's just a good guy.
he's a good dude,
Um,
man.
and apparently we called Russ Cassidy out. He's a colorist. He said, "Way to call me out when I was talking about celebrities." um, Dante had asked before, who are the inkers that influence you the most?
Oof, good question. Well, I think I should probably go in chronological order. Scott Williams, obviously. Um,
Mm-hmm.
First guy that I was like, oof, this dude, and RT Bear. Scott Williams and RT Bear at the same time. Because I remember thinking,
I love Art's work too.
Yeah, man. And when I saw
he was at my last show, you should have showed up. I had Scott Williams at the one before you canceled, and I had Art T. Bear at the other one. Damn, it could have been fun.
Yeah, I know. All right.
No, you had good reason though.
You got out your system? We're good?
You had good reason though.
So, yeah, Scott Williams and R.T. Bear. Because, again, those X Factor issues were inked by R.T. Bear, and that stuff stuck with me forever. I was like, this dude. Scott Williams, obviously, for what he was doing with Jim Lee on X-Men and Uncanny X-Men and all that good stuff. Rob used to ink himself, so I didn't really consider him to be like an inker. He was like inking himself. But I've always loved when Rob inked himself back then. Even back then, I know he's not an inker, but I just want to throw this in there because I think it's, he knew how to make his own stuff look really good. So I've always, it's funny it turned out to be an inker because I didn't really think of myself like that, but I've always been kind of conscious of what an inker does. That's why I never understand when people don't really mention the inker or don't give the inker credit, because to me, it's always been a collaborative thing. I don't see them as two separate things. I see it as these two guys created this image, or we add the colors. These three guys created this image. I never saw as one more important. Obviously, the pencil starts it off, but I never saw them as one being so much more important than the other, because I always felt like, that's why it looks good, because these two guys collaborated on this.
Well, not just that, but how many times pencilers in the past do roughs and it was the inker that tightened everything up?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times,
I think Sal was 10 books in a month.
Yeah, a lot of times that was the case. Pencilers got started getting a lot tighter later on.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they were a lot looser. The job was different. Their job was more of a storytelling kind of, and then the inker would kind of come in and do the finishes and make it look really pretty. But yeah, so Scott Williams, R.T. Bear, then Dan Panosian.
Okay. Yeah, most people don't mention him.
Yeah, we don't really know him as an inker now because he's such a great illustrator. But back then, he was like the third guy, because then those three kind of had that really modern, sharp look. Those were the guys who were doing like the image line. Know? Then later on, like Danny Mickey.
Yes, definitely.
John Sabal from these guys who are at Extreme, and then the guys like obviously no, let's start forgetting. There's a guy at Wildstorm I really like too. He used to ink over Scott Clark. Trevor Scott.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, okay.
I really like Trevor Scott. I like then Sandra Hope.
Okay.
She goes by Ink Monkey or something like that online.
Yeah, I know her name. Yeah, I don't remember what she's done, but I know the name.
She's amazing, man. Sandra Hope, and then Alice Garner was a huge influence on what I do.
Okay.
Alice Garner. He used to ink J. Scott Campbell.
Yep.
Yeah. He had kind of a Terry Austin kind of line.
Right.
And so that was crazy to me back then as well. Then Matt Banning, that.
Yep.
He's
a nice guy too.
Yeah, he is. I've met him a couple of times. Joe Weems as well.
Yep.
Incredible lines. Yeah, these guys, those are the guys that really kind of, and I know I'm gonna forget. But now, like for example, now probably more recently is I do watch a lot of Sandra Hope stuff, because now she's working over Andy Kubert, I think. Or
yeah.
I forgot which one.
Mm-hmm. Adam.
Yeah, Jonathan Glapion is great as well.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I know I'm forgetting a few. But those, for the most part, those were the guys that really, really, really influenced a lot of stuff I do. And again, they were all like image guys, and and just incredible. Like and J.P. Mayer, who's inking Stegman on King in Black.
Oh yeah. Stegman's a great penciler, by the way.
Yeah, and JP Mayer, I think, is making him look amazing.
Yep.
And he's a super nice guy too. I've had a lot of interaction with him, but that's not why I'm mentioning. I just mentioned because he's to me he's my favorite inker over Stegman right now. Like, you know, I think he's had good inkers over him before, but this guy is making him pop. Yeah.
By the way, real quick, a really talented penciler, Jim O'Reilly. He said Adelso, and he said you're a fantastic artist. Jim O'Reilly, I think, is a phenomenal talent. People should go check out his page because he's a really talented artist. By the way.
Hey, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that, man.
And Marat Michaels, again, he said he's just got an eye for awesome talent. You are awesome, Adelso. I keep telling everybody, I'm like the art world. I'm like the Love Boat of the art world. It's just wonderful. I'm like Captain Steuben.
Nah, it's true. He does have an eye for it. You know,
I know. He thinks he sees something in me. That's why I did my show. Russ Cassidy came up, actually asked a great question. He said, who would you like to see ink your pencils?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
And Marat said you're a line tracer.
So I'll take it from him. I'll take it, man. I got you. I'll text you when this is done. I got you. Don't worry about it. Ooh, that's a good question, bro.
That is a really good question, actually.
Yeah, you got me stuck on that.
See, Russ, and we thought that you were useless, but good question. No, I'm just kidding, of course.
Stuck on that one.
And Russ is a good colorist
too.
too.
Honest, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I would love to see Bat ink me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that line. This line is like,
dude, he does Mark Silvestri, so.
Yeah, it's sharp, but it's also very fluid, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's not. I know he uses a nib, but at times it doesn't look like a nib, and I think that's a great quality. I don't know. So I'd say Matt Banning, Joe Weems too. I love those Top Cow inkers, and you know Danny Mickey as well, because Danny Mickey he adds so much to it.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe he would do something really cool, but yeah, that's a really good question. I don't have one answer. I have to give.
Well, if you come up with one before the end of the show, throw it out there.
I will.
Even if it's like out of left field, just throw it out.
Yeah, I will.
Robert wanted to ask you, do pencils, in this case, we'll talk about Brett Booth. Does he give you a lot of guidelines for anything, or is he just pretty easy, like, here's my stuff and do what you got to do?
Yeah, everything's there. Brett doesn't really, I think I remember maybe once or twice having to text him and be like, hey, what do you want here? Like, what were you going for right here exactly? Like that type of thing. But no, everything's there. You know, Brett pencil's pretty tight. So I don't really have any I don't really have any questions with him as far as that goes. I kind of do my thing. I've actually told him, hey dude, if you ever see anything you want me to work on or fix or approach differently, like I don't have any shame in asking that, you know. And
well, again, being humble, I think is a big key, because when your ego gets in the way, that's when things go wrong.
I don't want anybody to ever think that I think I know everything. Like, I do what I do, but you know what? I make mistakes, and not everything is going to be interpreted exactly the way the penciler wanted it, and it's okay to say, hey, so I don't like that, you know, or this is what I was going for, you know, whatever.
That leads to another question from me before I do. Chris Mad, who's a really talented artist, says he made it. What's up, guys? Sure, huh? Yeah, Chris is a really cool guy, and he's really talented.
What's up,
Dante said, I'm not Captain Steuben, I'm more like Gopher.
He's what?
Heather Ellen, he said, I said I was like Captain Steuben, the Love Boat. He said I'm more like Gopher. He was like the geek loser on the boat. This is why we call him my Rogues Gallery. Heather Ellen, hello. Whoops, wrong one. That popped up as I was doing it. Heather Ellen said, hi all. Heather has been awesome helping me with my Creatorcon page. Thank you to Heather. She has her own page as well.
Hello,
Heather. God, I can't think of it. It's comics and something. I'm so sorry, Heather. Put it in the chat. Dell said it looks awesome what you're doing right now. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
So What I wanted to ask you too is, and I've never asked this of any artist, but I'm going to ask you because we're so cool and all. So,
Yeah, we're Queens cats. That's cool. We got it.
it's nothing bad. As an artist, as a celebrity in this industry, back at that, all you ever get is praise for everything you do. Let's face it, you get 100 comics and more, New Jersey. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Sometimes I get a little hate sometimes, but it's cool.
Well, now I'm not talking about trolls, mind you, because trolls who are
All right,
hateful and say stupid shit can all go to hell. But, but when you're getting all that praise, how does it feel when you finally get a critique? I mean, put constructed, in a proper way. Does it hit you hard when because you're so used to so many people kissing your butt and telling you how great you are and you can do no wrong, and then here comes somebody going, well, that piece maybe wasn't the best that you did or whatever. I mean, how does that affect you? Does that affect you?
I guess I'd be lying if I said no, it didn't affect me, right? Like, I'm still human. Like, nobody, you know how it is. Like, you could hear a million good things, but you got to pay attention to that one negative.
Right.
That's the part that's going to get to me. And
right.
I've always been that way anyway. I kind of pay attention to the negative. The praise never really gets to me. Again, I'm not really affected by it. I'm appreciative.
You're like me. You wear your heart on your sleeve, and when you get compliments, you don't really know how to take it, but you focus on that one. You can get 100 positives, and that one negative is the one that sits with you.
That's the one that I'll be thinking about at night. Like, damn, maybe they're right, But no, I don't really let it get to me like that. To be completely honest, I don't, because it doesn't really. I take into consideration. I never blow anything off. I never screw them. They don't know what they're talking
about.
I never do that because, again, I can make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on my craft. I can't say that and then say, no, screw them. No, I have to realize that, yeah, there are things that maybe aren't perfect. So I take it for what it is. And if I notice that what they're saying is true, then, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know next time, hey, I should work on that, or maybe I shouldn't attack that way. And if not, whatever, like, I don't, if it affects me for like a couple seconds, and then I go into logical mode, and then I'm like, all right, maybe they are right, or maybe not. Maybe they're not right, then whatever. Like, I always go back to, hey, you know what? You just got 1,000 likes and 25 comments that said it's great. This one person, and then what I do, and maybe this is petty of me, but I do this. I go to their page, just to see what's up.
And then you sit there and go, this motherfrigger can't draw worth a shit.
Because you know what? It matters where it comes from.
But it's always the guys who can't draw who are telling you you're not good enough.
It's like anything else. Do you ever have a close friend who tells you, hey, you messed up on that, or you shouldn't have done that way? You're going to take that to heart because that's your friend.
Right.
You know that's somebody who loves you and cares about you and doesn't want you to make mistakes or whatever. And if some stranger in the street you've never met before, then you're not going to give the same weight. So then the way I see it is, all right, this guy's saying it, all right, let me see what the deal is with this dude. And a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10 is trash.
Yeah.
It's garbage. So then,
dude,
what am I really thinking about here? Like, I got too much on my mind, to start, taking this person's opinion into too seriously.
Dude, Scott Williams put up some post of something he drew on Instagram, and this guy came on and started telling him what he did wrong and why.
Yeah.
And I went to his page, and he was trash.
Yeah.
This guy was garbage. I mean, he couldn't even make a stick figure look good. And I'm sitting there going, no matter whether he's right or wrong anyway, nobody asked you for your friggin' opinion. And last time I checked, Scott was a well-renowned inker and artist in the world, and you're the schmo that's following him.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him, at least give respect for his resume. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's funny. No, that's it. And if they're really good, then I'll take it into consideration. But you know what? It's never the guys who are really good.
I know.
Because those guys know what it takes and what it is to do this. And they have a certain respect for the art, and they're not going to go in there and just troll to get a to get some
Well, I think
attention from some strangers. Like,
well, I think it's what it is they feel inferior and inadequate, so they have to sound and boost themselves
yeah,
up by looking like they know what they're talking about. But what is the old adage? Those who teach, it's because they can't do.
those who can't do, those who can't do teach. Yeah.
Yeah. So off subject for a minute. I meant to ask this earlier. Dante had asked. He knows that some artists listen to podcasts to kill the silence. Do you listen to any podcasts, and why aren't you listening to mine? I edited that in.
If you guys you get comments in here, I can see them later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if anybody has any podcasts out there, that I'll check them out. I got nothing but time to listen to podcasts.
Except for mine.
Studio for 15 hours a day. Guess what? I can try out some new podcasts.
So how many of mine have you listened to?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know you had a podcast. I didn't even know you had one.
Dude, this show here. I mean, it's on YouTube. It's on Facebook.
Okay, that's all right. I thought you meant like a podcast. Oh, so
not an audio. It's video. I like this. I like people tell me your show's not polished. You got to clean it up, and I'm like, I like that it's raw. I like that it's just guys hanging out across the table having fun. Polished to me. There's nothing wrong with polished, obviously, but I just like the raw energy, the honesty of it all. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not some pro. I'm not some tech pro. Let's just sit down and have fun and talk. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is fun, man. I'm having fun.
By the way, Diraj, hello. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. And yes, Heather, I'm so sorry. Comics and More New Jersey and Comics and More Chaos. I'm so sorry, Heather. I'm such a scatterbrain. She deserved better than that. My apologies.
Yeah, you messed up, bro.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Adelso.
Well, I got you back, brother.
You know what? Just for that, you and Marah got to get Rob to do my friggin' show. I can't even get in touch with him. I spoke to David. David said he talked to him, and I never heard back from David. He's probably busy, but I want to get Rob on here.
Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, I listen to his stuff. Have you listened to it?
I haven't listened to it, but everybody's telling me how awesome it is. Russ was just saying it's great. Man.
It's great. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, I guess, like the energy he has for it and like kind of the love for it. It's
well, he is a fanboy.
Yeah, I love it, man. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. I listen to a lot of I listen to Joe Budden podcast.
Who?
That's for the hip hop heads.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not me.
Joe Budden. Yeah, I listen to that a lot. What's the other one I listen to pretty regularly too? I don't know. I don't listen to a lot, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to those mainly. I listen to them Drink Champs, another kind of hip hop stuff, but
yeah, I remember you used to put your music on while you were doing your live Instagrams, and now they won't let you do that.
They cut me off all the time. It's sad, man. That was part of the fun of it. I put on the music, and we could discuss the music as well. And Instagram has ruined everything. So,
John Howard had said that Rob's enthusiasm is infectious. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It is. You should listen to it, man. It's really good. And it's informative, and like I'm always kind of shocked on how good he is at remembering things. Like, and I'm sure he does some research as well. I don't think it's all freestyle, but it's like he remembers these things, and the way he kind of describes them, it's amazing to me. It's good. It's good. It's a good thing to. It's a nice positive thing to listen to.
Plus, I think people get attracted to his like Russ said, the passion. When you're talking and you're animated and you're into it, that draws people, that energy. Because some of these podcasts are very informative, but they talk like the teacher from Ferris Bueller. Bueller. I'm like, dude. I mean, no disrespect, but holy crap, man! Sniff something, do something, because you need to wake the hell up. But there's some dudes that need some smelling salts.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be great at a podcast. Like, I'm not the guy for that, because I'm just not. But Rob is a great talker, and
well, he has that celebrity about him.
He has great memories. Yeah, man, he has that charisma about it, and it's great. It's great to listen to.
He's always had that, but it's that passion that gets him in trouble too when he gets mad online.
Yeah, well, yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess, right? Like,
Look,
can't have one without the other. It all comes together.
I'm guilty of being an angry jerk live, so I can't really throw
Yeah,
stones at anybody.
I saw your little live the other day. I was like, yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, how's it? I was like, yo, my man feels going off right now.
Dude, I didn't. 400 people
true.
watched it live. I took it down, and I can't believe how many people watched it who I didn't even think would have eyes on it. But whatever.
No, I was washing my dishes and I put it on. I had it on my Bluetooth, and I was like, this is entertaining as hell. I listened to it. Trust me, I listened to it. I'm not missing this. I like it.
I won't name them, but I had a couple of big names in the industry go to me. I didn't know you could use the word, the instead of rooster, any blank will do. I didn't know you could use that word in so many different ways.
You got creative.
People were telling me I should get a shirt that says "I don't get canceled, mother."
Yeah. I felt it, man. I was coming from a real place. I was like,
It was coming from a very, very real place, a place of 3 years of frustration, man.
I hear you, bro.
I didn't think you listened to that. You never even mentioned it to me. You didn't say nothing.
I heard it. I couldn't turn it off. This guy's gonna have to shut up. I ain't taking this off.
Well, I'm not proud of it, but at the same time, I stand by what I said. I stand by what I did because I'm not one to make excuses. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't take it, the politically correct crap anymore. And I felt I was being bullied, and I don't want to teach my kids that. And if I'm going to lose the show and I'm going to lose everything I worked hard for, it'll be because I decided to just say screw it. It won't because some other son of a gun, It goes on my terms, not theirs. But I got a lot of love, and I appreciated it. But it's what it is. But anyway, enough about me.
The stutter is coming hard.
Can you hear me all right?
A little bit better.
So, who is your favorite character to draw?
That would be Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a long time, it was Wolverine, actually. Because I love the Wolverine because he had you draw the hairs on the arms, and you can kind of, I don't know, you can make them kind of look grimy, and, there's a lot to work with Wolverine. I never really liked drawing him with the mask on. If people notice, I usually draw him without the mask.
Yeah.
Because I think his face just looks better with the hair and the mask on. I think it's because I feel like I never get the mask right. But Batman's my favorite to draw for sure.
See, I would have thought you said Deadpool because it's got to be the character you draw the most.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's for sure. If you ask me which one I've drawn the most, it's Deadpool, for sure, by far. But my favorite is just Batman to draw because Batman has the cape. The costume is cool. He has different variations you can kind of go with, and all of them are pretty cool. The bat symbol, I don't know, it's just more to work with him.
So I chose well when I asked you to draw Batman on my DC Jam.
What happened?
So I chose well when I asked you to draw Batman on my DC Jam.
Yeah, you did.
Do you remember that?
But I mean, look, I love drawing Deadpool too because I like drawing the masked characters. I don't like the fluffy, I don't like drawing Superman.
Right.
I don't like drawing that kind of thing. Like, to me, that's like,
The truth is, you're edgy anyway, so the edgy characters go over even better with you.
Yeah, I like that kind of thing. I like characters with shadows, and you can kind of play a lot of dark stuff too. I don't like the sunny characters,
You might have to jump out and jump back in if this keeps going.
It's bad.
A few seconds you froze, but it looks like it's holding on. What's your most memorable commission request? It could be outlandish and crazy. It could be like totally screwed up. Whatever you want. Make it as funny as hell if you can.
I don't know, man. I don't have any crazy commission requests. I'll be honest. It's kind of a boring answer, but I don't have anything that's that memorable as far as.
Really? Nothing kinky, nothing crazy? No pandas
No,
fornicating with anime characters?
I have gotten requests that people are like, hey, can you draw her doing this to this? Or can you know, like I've gotten that, but I've never done them. I don't know. I don't really like that. I think that's kind of corny. Like, I don't know. No, I'm not judging anybody, but
no, that's some creepy shit to walk up to a total stranger and say, "Hey, could you have this mermaid banging a panda or something?" That's like, what's wrong with you, man?
I've had people ask me, "Hey, can you draw her boobs like this and her looking this and this and that?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good, man. Like, I'm just not. I don't know. It's not into it. Again, I don't judge it, and the other artists who could probably do a really great job with it. But if I could say no to something like that, I'll say no. I don't have any problem saying no. I don't really.
Right.
It's just not my bag, you know.
Well, Dante and Della saying you should do. What would it do? Would it cost to draw a naked picture of me? These weirdos. I'll tell you though, that would go for a lot of money.
Yeah.
By the way, dude, are you breaking hearts or something? Because we got two angry faces on this video from two women, Annette and Brianna. Are you like breaking hearts or something?
No, I ain't breaking no hearts. Who and who? Tell me who they are though. Wait up.
Annette D. Valencia and Brianna Wells put angry faces on this video. I don't know what. Maybe I didn't break any hearts. I'm married.
What's the first one?
What was it? It was Annette D. Valencia.
Oh, I don't know these people.
I was gonna say, I was like, angry faces. We did something wrong. Maybe it was you, because I'm charming.
Maybe it's the audio they're mad at.
Yeah. maybe it's them talking about nude portraits of Phil. No, they put it up there earlier. They're probably not even still with it. Do you have a memorable convention moment? Sorry, Dante, can't give you the numbers. I don't know.
I've had a few. No, because my memorable moments are like, this is gonna sound cheesy and corny, but it's true. This is 100% true. My memorable moments at conventions are like when an artist you admire comes and says, "Hey, I really dig your work." Like that to me is, or even just a fan that comes up and says, "Hey, can I take my picture with you?" Like those are the things that to me affect my day. Those are the things that make me. I remember at New York once. I'm gonna say this is gonna be my answer. But I remember at New York Comic Con once a few years ago. Will Potasio comes up to me. It was the beginning. It was like on Thursday or whatever it was. Because New York was 4 days, right? So it was like the first day of the convention, and Will Potasio comes, and I've talked to Will before, and his wife Joe and all that. He comes up to me, he's talking to me, and he's just telling me like, "Oh, I like when you do this, or I like when you do that." And he was talking to me about like a virtual studio. I guess it never really came to fruition, but he was talking to me about like a virtual studio and stuff like that. And I was thinking about, what do you think about that? Like, I don't think it was like an official invite, but it was kind of like, yeah, I think there was a little bit of an interest in him. Like, hey, what do you think about? And again, I didn't take it as like an official, like, hey, do you want to join us? But the fact that he asked me, like, what do you think about that? Or he was just so genuine about the way he was asking me about like my opinions on things. And when you do
he
this,
has no ego at all.
That? No, like he was asking
He's awesome.
me, like, hey, what do you use to do this? Or what tool do you use to do that? Or what? And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, you're Will Potasio. Like, and he makes you feel comfortable, and just the way he's kind of very well, like soft-spoken. And I think I would have to say that's my most memorable moment, to be completely honest. And I've had others before with other artists who have come up to me and all that, but of the quote-unquote legendary artists, like, and again, look, I don't mean to like, I don't want to like leave anybody out, because with Rob at that point, I had been working with Rob, for a few years. So when me and Rob always see each other at convention, it's always cool. Like Rob's always like super cool and all that. Like, but I don't really talk to Wills. like that. I never worked with Wills officially like that. So when he comes up to me and he starts telling me and asking me all this stuff, it's like, it's an incredible feeling. You feel, again, I don't need the validation, but man, that you can't help but to be like, damn, like Wills Potassia knows who I am. He took the time to come over and talk to me.
And when he talks to you, he talks to you like he's known you for years. And then Joe's like smacking him, get back to work.
Yeah, I know. No, she wasn't there because he actually walked to my table. So he was free to do what he wanted, but she's usually the boss. I've been there too, and she's like, "Hey, my man."
She would smack him on the arm. Okay, come on, get to work.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was fortunate to get a moment there with Joe not being around, so he was able to get it all out. But,
so were you disappointed that you didn't get the issues in Major X that he was in?
Yeah, I was.
I was disappointed. I didn't realize that you didn't get to ink him. I'm like, whoa.
Well, first of all, I'm not disappointed because I didn't really. Yeah, disappointed after the fact, but I didn't really know who was going to be on it. I didn't really know because I was working with Rob, and then the inker who was working over Brent wasn't really working out. So Rob said, "Hey, would you want to come in and ink over Brent's stuff?" And I was like, "All right, cool." And that was great as well because it's such a different type of penciler that I was like, "All right, it's going to be a bit of a challenge," but I welcome it. But yeah, the Wills, I was really, really hoping to ink Wills on that, to be honest. And I was hoping that maybe a page came by that maybe he needed help on the deadline or something. But
yeah.
That email never came through, but I was
guys,
hopeful.
we gotta push for that, guys. We gotta do a nice a hashtag or something.
What would the hashtag be?
Adelso inks Wills.
Nah, man, I'll be honest, that's one of my bucket lists, to ink a Wills page for an actual publication.
And that's the other thing. Brent was at my show, and this was when Major X was out, and you were going to be there. It would have been great to have the two of you together because Brent is a really nice guy, and he's an underrated penciler.
That's my man. Yeah, he's super cool. We sat next to each other at a Vegas show.
He was supposed to be on this show. He had to postpone it, but he'll be on next month. So.
Yeah, Brett's a cool dude, man.
He really is a really good guy.
Yeah.
Do you, Dante wants to know, do you still read any current comics, or are you just so inundated with work right now that you can't pay attention?
Yeah, I don't really follow anything. I don't really read anything. When I hit the comic shop, which is not that often, unfortunately, I buy stuff for the artwork. I really do. I open the book, and usually I follow a lot of these artists online. So when I go to the comic shop, I kind of have an idea as to what I'm looking for.
Right.
Because again, you're following them, so you kind of know they're working on this title, and this title, and this title. And because I don't go to the comic shop that often, there's usually a bit of a build-up. So I have, I usually go and I'll spend a little money because I haven't bought comics in 5 months. So I usually go for what I know I'm looking for. But I buy it for the artwork. I open it up, and if it doesn't look that great, I put it right back down. I'm not concerned with storylines. I'm really not. So I'm looking for the artwork, and if it gets me, it gets me, and if not, then I move on. But
by the way, Brian.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Brian Sharp did the hashtag Adelso inks Wills. I just popped it up on the screen. What's up, Brian? What's going on?
Brian, what up?
So, dude, I mean, you're blowing up. I mean, it's fantastic, and I have to tell you, I've been nothing against Hickman as a writer. I think he's an excellent writer. He's just not, the writer for me per se. I don't really care for the new X-Men stuff. I kind of miss the X-Men that I loved, and when I heard about the Legend stuff going on, and they brought Claremont to write it, and then I heard that you and Brett were going to be doing a story. I was like, man, now I'm excited again, and I'm hoping that the book does so well. I mean, not just for you and Brett, but for the industry, because Marvel needs to see that they're alienating a whole audience that helped them get to where they are, that they need to give us a little something here. They need to give us what we love and what we miss,
I agree. Man. I think people are really going to dig it. I mean, the work is, the work's going to speak for itself. But you guys know what Brett can bring, and
You know
I'm
what
just,
you can bring.
doing, trying to do his stuff justice, and I think people are going to really love it, man. I think this is a throwback. This is the throwback. So if you're, if the X-Men of old was your thing, and when I say old, I mean just the time, when X-Men was like the X-Men. This is a throwback to that. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's a lot of great, with the artwork is, we're trying to bring it, to that, bring it back to that. So yeah,
See,
pretty excited
for me,
for you guys to check it out.
I've been an X-Men fan since I was 9 years old when I picked up my first comic. And in the 70s and 80s, in the Bronze Age, X-Men weren't the big, like they were a constant seller, but they weren't getting all the notoriety and attention. It was Spider-Man, it was the Hulk, it was Captain America.
Yeah.
But then the 90s came and we had the cartoon, and it was like, I can't believe we're going to have because the Pride of the X-Men didn't work out, and I was so excited for that. And then we got the X-Men cartoon, and the X-Men blew up, and then you had Jim Lee with Chris Claremont, and I was in heaven. And even though my favorite era is the late 70s, early 80s, the 90s is what brought the X-Men out and got them such love. So if we could go back to that for a while for Legends, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what it is. It is very much that. And I think Marvel's smart. Marvel's smart to notice, hey, you know what, this is what people want this. People want this, and I'm glad that I'm just here. I'm here for the ride, man. And
hell yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, the egomaniac has finally shown up. He's graced us after an hour and 47 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Continuado.
Oh.
He said Adelso is pure talent. Love this guy. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Ace was on my show in September or October. Of course, Adelso didn't come to see you, though, Ace. And Sajad didn't show up for either one of you.
Who's Sajad?
Yeah, he didn't show up for this show or Ace's show.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got to bust his chops. I wanted Sajad to come on the show, but, anyway. So I'm excited for you to be on this Legends book. What'd you say?
I said Sajad's bougie. Now I'm messing with
you.
That's my man. That's why I say that, because he calls me bougie, so I got to mess with him a little bit.
Ace said it's because he's too handsome for us. Speak for yourself, Ace. I'm really good looking.
Yeah, for real.
Yo, Ace, when he was on the show, he's in his daughter's room. This is where he's doing the show from, and we have like these little kid anime things up there and stuff. And then on the side, there's a poster of all these dogs. And he sits there and tells me, he says this to me live, look, it's the lunch menu. I freaking pissed myself. I freaking died. He's so hilarious, man.
He's a funny dude, bro. He's a funny dude.
He really is.
That's my man, bro.
I would love to just, man, I'm telling you, I'd love to get all of you together, come to my show, and then we go grab some dinner after at some point and just laugh and have fun. It would be a great time, and Ace can pay.
Ace can pay, yeah, man. He's getting all the big bucks. No, I would love to do the show, to be honest.
He's a dentist. He's got the money.
Yeah, he got the dough. I know we haven't been able to make it happen, but yeah, we'll love to do the show. Go back to my old stomping grounds. I grew up in Long Island, man.
So. Oh, I know. Yeah, like I said, I totally understood why you had to. I get it. I bust your chops, but that's just being friends, right? Friends bust each other's chops. But yeah, we'll get you there eventually, especially since it's going to be an annual 2-day show, so it'll be easier for you to get out there. It'll be easier to come for 2 days than just one.
Yeah.
So, do you have any advice you would like to give any up-and-coming artists or inkers? Inkers are artists, but I mean specifically inkers, if not pencilers.
Oof. I think we stay consistent. Stick with it. I made a mistake early on. Like, not a mistake. It's just that I had, I guess, the advantage or the luxury of having a day job. So when I started working, like with Murad and all that, I would kind of pick and choose what I could do, and I wasn't very consistent with it. And I think that took away from me for a few years. I think I lost a few years there because I just wasn't taking it as serious as I probably should have. So
Right.
anybody who's doing this, I just stay consistent. And again, don't look for the constant inspiration, to do what you do, because that's not always going to be there. And so basically work hard, man, put the hours in, and you'll see it. You'll see the growth. There's it's going to happen regardless, even if you don't see it on a day by day basis. Just again, just stay consistent. I know that's super cliche, but it's the truth. It's the most valuable piece of advice I could ever give somebody is put in the hours. It's
So
not the
don't look
easiest
for
thing to do.
inspiration. So don't look for inspiration,
Yeah,
but be the inspiration.
yeah. Inspiration is a bonus. There are days where I feel inspired. That's a bonus to me. That's not the norm.
Right.
I do what I do. I'm a professional. When you say professional, there's a lot that comes with that. It's not just a term you should throw around. It means that you're doing something at a
Work.
certain level and getting paid for it. You shouldn't have to, exactly. It's work. It's not supposed to be, not, it's not a hobby anymore. And I think for a few years there, I almost treated it like a hobby, you know, and yeah, I wish I could take that time back, and I wish I could be more consistent with it. And yeah, don't
Yeah.
let
Well. Go
don't
ahead.
let the bumps, don't let the little obstacles that happen sometimes, because those are going to be inevitable.
Right.
The obstacles are going to happen. That's you're never going to escape that. Some obstacles might be bigger than others, but it's always going to happen. And just stick with it, man. Sorry for the coach talk, but
No. Go. Yeah. No.
yeah,
This is true, man, and people need to hear this because I see a lot of artists get discouraged quickly, and I'm like, listen, it's a long road, it's a hard road, but it's a road worth it.
yeah,
You just gotta buckle down, man. Put your head down and pull forward.
yeah. And let me
And
just
like
add
you,
let me just add one. I'm sorry. Let me just add one more thing.
yeah,
I don't mean to cut you off, but this is more of a modern era thing that happens, and I notice this a lot too. Don't look for the validation online. It's important to get yourself out there because you want to get noticed. I understand that, and I've gotten a lot of work from people who have seen my stuff online. But when you're trying to develop yourself as an artist, whether it be a pencil, an inker, or colorist, or whatever, don't be afraid to just buckle down, turn your phone off, and stay away from social medias. And I know that sounds weird, but I see a lot of people. I get this question a lot, especially on Instagram. How do I get my followers up? How do I get more people to notice my stuff? And but that shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be the work itself.
yep,
I never really showed my stuff until I felt like I was ready. Again, I came up in a time where social media wasn't a thing, so I had that advantage. But even with social media, I don't post everything I do. I put in the work and I got better, but not because I was posting, I was getting more followers. It's because I was buckling down and doing the work. I didn't need people to tell me, hey, you're getting better. I needed that from people that I trusted and that I knew and whose number I had and whose faces I've seen and who people who I've shared time with. But I didn't need that from everybody or from a stranger. I
right,
just put in the work, and that stuff will come. The better you get, the more people are going to notice you and the more followers you will get. But don't make that the focus. Today, there's a lot of focus on only the followers. And if I don't have a lot of followers, that means I suck. No, that doesn't mean anything. I know incredible, incredible, incredible artists out there that I'm like, damn, this guy's amazing. Or this girl's amazing. And they have barely any followers. Doesn't make them any better or any worse. They're obviously, people who are like, I'm never gonna get to that. Like that's the way. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm never gonna get to that. But all right, and they're not. Their focus is not on the followers. Their focus is on the craft itself.
sure,
Then everything else will come. So please, I only say this I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm only saying this because I get this asked a lot. How do I get more people to follow me? That shouldn't be your focus. When you feel like you have something that's worth sharing, then share it. I'm not saying don't, but don't make that the number one thing. And
And
that's that.
don't seek validation through followers. You're right. That's the best
No,
advice. That's actually the best advice I've gotten on the show.
yeah, that means nothing. That means nothing. Trust me. Because you're gonna get people who are gonna hate on you just to hate. So if you're
Yep.
gonna let that affect you, then you're never gonna get anywhere.
Not to mention, followers doesn't mean engagement. You could have 10,000
No,
people following you, but what, 5 people liking it? Whatever. You
no,
just do what you got to do. Plug away.
exactly. But I
By the
don't
way,
blame people. I mean, it is a social media era. Like this is what it is. But I think that's important to be said because I feel like it gets lost. You know.
I agree. Raphael said, yes, you definitely are a hardworking dude, and the work is paying off. And Chris and Mad says, hands down, best advice. I agree. It's the best advice. That's the best answer I've gotten yet in over 50 shows. So we
Wow.
got to get
Thank
some
you.
sort of Inkwell Award or advice award for Adelso. And Ace says that you smell good.
Who
Ace
says
says
this?
Ace, he goes, Adelso smells good. So how often does Ace go around sniffing you at cons?
Whenever he wants. That's my man right there, man. We got Shaper love, bro. We have that connection.
Dante's agreeing with you. He says that in the post Kardashian social media age, everyone wants more followers to feel validated. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that I could do that probably would get more followers, but would they be? I want quality and substance over quantity, and that's what
Yeah.
everybody should want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree. I think that's great advice. Now, the I always leave off with this question, and then we'll take some more questions from people in the chat. You're still a young dude, but if you could go back in time to when you were starting out, and you kind of touched on this, so we'll just have you elaborate. What advice would you give your younger self, knowing what you know now?
I think the same thing. I would have stayed more consistent. There was a time when I first moved to Florida. Well, even before that, I moved to Florida in 2000, almost 2001. So I came here like the end of 2000, and there was a few years there where I barely drew. I didn't do anything. I didn't really buy comics that much. I was kind of really out of it. I kind of lost the love for it. Um, and I think if I could take those years back, I would definitely do that. Again, we know obviously we can't turn back time, but if I had a way to go back to that time and maybe stay away from doing the nonsense that I was doing because I made a lot of mistakes on my personal life. If I could take that time back and really buckle down, and take it seriously, I left. I'll say. We'll be honest here. I left opportunities on the table that would have really done a big thing for me. Like Top Cow wanted me to work for them. I didn't do it.
Oh wow!
Um, yeah, man, that hurt. That hurt. Um, they
But do
gave
you
me
think
samples. They
that
gave me
those things
samples.
happening made you how you are today, though, and led you to where you
Yeah,
are because now you're
yeah,
the worker that you are?
yeah. Could be, but I mean, yeah. If I had my choice, I would go back and they gave me a sample script. I wanted to hear back from me, and even followed up with me, and I didn't do anything.
Oh,
Marvel. I had an interview with Marvel in it was what 99, 98, 99, and gave me a sample script. Didn't do it. Um, yeah, I had conversations, and this is my friends know this is true. I had conversations with Mark Silvestri that I chickened out of basically. Um,
right.
yeah, so there are a lot of things. Cross gen uh, had interest, and I didn't follow up with that either.
Oh
Um,
wow!
there were a lot of things that I could have done differently, a lot, um, and I just didn't. I didn't. I was too focused on having a good time, and I was too focused on you know the girl and the this and the that, and I was too much into that, and maybe that's a maturity thing. Yeah, I was definitely immature about it. But if I can take anything back, and advice I would give myself is, think about what those actions, what consequences those actions will bring, and take it seriously. Again, it all comes back to the same thing. Everybody's life is different. I'm not saying that, what happened to me would happen to anybody else, but if I could do something differently, I would take my stuff a lot more seriously. I would buckle down. I would put in the time. I would get away from distractions, because that can lead to something really great, and maybe I was impatient and I wanted everything to happen at once, and that's why I didn't do what I did. But yeah, I think my advice is put in that work again, be consistent with it, stick with it. If it's something you love, again, if you don't have the pure love for it, then it's not going to work out, probably anyway. To be honest, this is the comic field is an industry that you have to have love for it. Very few people make it big in comic books. It's a very small percentage. So if you
Right.
love it, you got to do it. If you want to do it, and you have to do it for the love. And that can bring great things. I'm not saying you can't be successful and ultra successful if you want to, but just put in the time. And don't give up on it. And you know, I don't know what
Absolutely.
else to say to sound. I don't want to keep sounding like repetitive, but
No, good
yeah,
advice.
if I could tell my younger self something, it's say stick with what you have the talent for, and stay away from the nonsense.
And make sure you smell good, because Chris Mad also agrees that you smell good.
Word.
You know, the other thing about your inking is your detail to faces. I love.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
very, as an art collector, I'm very, very picky about faces. I mean, extremely picky about faces. I feel like most people that are on a professional level can draw anatomy and do a body and do a pose very well. And I know that feet, hands, and face, those are the things that are really tough. But the face, just like when you meet a person, is the first thing you see. It's the first thing
Yeah,
that you notice, you know?
yeah, it is.
And when you can make Wolverine look like that in his mask, or when you make Gambit just look badass, I mean, for me, I'm a big Nightcrawler fan. You know that. The face
Yeah,
is everything.
yeah,
You
absolutely,
know?
absolutely. But I think that comes from. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that, man. But I think that comes from. First of all, I usually leave the faces for last because I like to be nice and warmed up. I like to be at Scott Williams actually said something like that on Twitter recently. At peak performance or something like that is what he said. You want to be really warmed up because that's so important. I think it comes from the fact that I've always worked with guys who have told me from the very beginning, hey, stay tight on the face. When I started
Yep.
working with Marat, he would give me a lot of advice. But one of the first things he told me was, hey, do your thing, but stay tight on the face.
Right.
And especially with the women, he'd be like, he would always start with do your thing, but stay
Hmm.
tight on the face, you know. And with Rob Liefeld, everybody kind of knows this. It's no secret. I've only recently really started working where I ink Rob's faces. For a lot of years there, I didn't ink Rob's faces.
Oh,
And
really?
again, yeah, this is not a secret. Rob has said this many times before online, so I don't feel like I'm disclosing any kind of crazy information. But I would basically ink the bot down. I wish I had the pages near me. They're in the other room, but um, I would basically do the figures in the backgrounds, and then Rob would go in and finish the faces.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he would do his own faces because that's an important part of it. And Rob's style is very distinct, and his face is a big part of it.
Right.
So I understood it. I never took it personally. And remember early on too, like I think Marat maybe thought that I was taking that a little personally. That Rob would tell me, "Hey, don't do the faces." And I remember Marat was always super supportive, and he'd be like, hey, dude, don't ever take that too serious. Don't take that personal, because he did that with everybody. He
Right.
did it with Danny Mickey. You know, if you think Danny Mickey is a great inker, but
Right.
Rob inked his own faces. You know, and don't ever take that personal, because that's just the way he does it. You know, because he wants that face to be perfect. And so yeah, so I again with Marat did that, and Sajjad stuff. Sajjad has, if you look at Sajjad's stuff, is beautiful faces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's handsome and the girls are beautiful, and he just has a really great way of, you know, kind of constructing the face. So I was always respectful of that, you know. So I always kind of take extra care. So I usually leave it for last, and I take most of the time on that. Not most of the time, obviously, but it's, you know, I do put a lot of emphasis on that because it's important. And as an
Well,
inker, you screw somebody's faces up, they won't want to work with you anymore.
right.
Guess
Well,
what?
think about it. You can change an entire expression by accidentally a line weight is off, or you drag a
Yeah,
line too far. A facial expression is totally ruined.
absolutely. And what I do is I always do this as well. This is a tip for inkers. I always print out a copy of the pencils. I always print out a copy. I hardly ever start inking a page without a scan of it, and I usually print out a copy of it so that I can refer to it. The figures, I do what I do. You know, I obviously I respect what's there. I'm not, but at the end of every piece, I usually go in, and the last thing I look at to make sure everything's intact is the face. And I look at the pencils and I look at the inks. And if sometimes I'll see a line is a little too thin or too thick, I'll go in and I'll fix it. I take that extra time because as a penciler, when you put in that work and an inker comes and decides that he wants to do whatever he wants to do on it, that's discouraging. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not going to make a penciler want to work with you again. You could do great figures. You could do all the pretty line work and the wiggles and everything you want on the thing. But if you go in and screw those faces up constantly, the person's gonna be like, oh, I kind of want to see what somebody else does, you know. So I'm always really careful about that because, you know, penciler puts in the work and you come and screw things up. It's not fun.
Right. I agree. Actually, I wanted to ask you. I'm going to ask you this because I always come up with stuff in my mind. But have you sat back and pinched yourself that you got this second chance? I mean, you were talking about how you felt you blew it back then,
Yeah,
and you're booming. I mean, you're on X-Men, man, on one of the best pencilers in the industry, and you're a name. I mean, have you been able to sit back and just pinch yourself and say, "Son of a gun, I got my second chance"?
absolutely, absolutely. And those are the things that make you humble. You know, like it comes back to that. You know, I messed up. You know, like I don't want to get personal, but to be honest, like I did, I fucked up. You know, like I let a lot of things go because I was doing my thing, and the streets kind of got me. Like I'm not a tough gangster, dude. No, no, I'm not saying that, but I was in the streets a lot. You know, I was out, I was doing my thing. I was like,
Sowing
you
your
know,
oats.
I was living my New York life. You know, I was in my 20s, and yeah, Marvel wants me to do a sample script, but screw that. I want to go hang out with my boys tonight. You know, like I was that dude, and
Do
and
you
I
think
just
some of that was just more fear and insecurity that I don't know if I can do this, so I'm just going to not keep
yeah,
going?
maybe it was me running away from something. Yeah, I could be for sure. But yes, I pinch myself all the time because things could have turned out in every aspect of my life. Things could have turned out a lot differently. You know, I wasn't. You know, a lot of times I think, damn, I'm not supposed to be here, and that's just the truth, man. I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't think I'd make it this far in life. I didn't think I'd be this old. To be completely honest, I'd be like, damn, I'm not. And here I am, man. And yes, I pinch myself all the time, and that's the stuff that keeps you grounded. That's the stuff that keeps you humble, because you know you're at this point, and things could have been a lot different, you know, and maybe I would have never got an opportunity again.
Right.
You know, maybe I would have never got anybody to listen, to watch, to look at anything I've ever done, because for what? You know, we gave you opportunities and you messed them up and you threw them aside and you didn't take anything seriously. Life doesn't owe you anything.
Right.
you know. And
I
here
say
I
that
am
all the time.
working with people that I respect and that I admire, whose books I used to collect as a kid, you know, to work and have conversations with these people and you know, to work on projects that I dreamt of as a
And to
kid.
be their peer.
Yeah, man, and to have their respect and to have them want to work with me and like, you know, I can't take that stuff for granted. I just can't, and doesn't life won't my own self it doesn't allow me to. So yeah, likes and all the comments and that's good stuff, but this is the stuff that matters to me, man. You know, I'm here and I'm doing something that I love, and yeah, maybe I'm not getting rich off of it, but I'm making a living, you know, and
Listen, wealth is a matter of mindset.
you know, I know a lot of people with money that are miserable.
Yep.
I've seen that my whole life, you know. I've seen it. I've seen it. People who are miserable. I've seen people with money who enjoy their money as well. I'm not saying that doesn't exist either, but I've seen a lot of that, you know, and people who would, yeah, maybe they have stable, but they're not happy and they hate what they do. And so, yeah, I have to be grateful for everything that I have and for the
One
little that I have and whatever, like whatever you want to say, I have to be grateful and I have to pinch myself for sure. Like, this is my
one
reality.
one of the coolest things though is you're immortalized through your work. Think about it. I mean, the person who has that day job, whatever, when it's their time and they pass, the family will remember them, and of course they move on.
Yeah, yeah,
But your body of work will live on forever. I mean, 100
yeah,
years from now, there'll be people collecting X-Men books, and your
yeah,
books are going to be some of them.
yeah, man. I mean, it's humbling for sure, dude. I remember before this whole pandemic thing happened. I've my mom doesn't live that far from me, so like maybe once a week I'd see her and we would go out and have like breakfast or lunch or brunch or whatever. And usually where we go eat, really nearby me is a comic shop. So after we go eat or whatever, I would tell her, "Hey, you want to go with me to the comic shop?" And I remember going with her. In those days, it was Bloodshot was coming out around that time. And I went to the shop, and there were a couple of things, projects I was working on, and they were on the shelves. And I showed my mom, and she would get teary eyed, like she would tear
Nice.
up, because not because just because she knows how much it means to me,
She's proud
like
of her boy.
yeah, she knows what I've been through, and to see me like go through that and end up doing what I loved anyway. And to her, it's a thing, And again, it's not like I'm rich. It's not like any of that. She doesn't see it like that. I come from a family that's not perfect, but we don't value money over everything. We don't.
Right.
I don't come from that kind of family. We don't. And it's family more than anything over everything else. And to her, to see me happy and see me go to the shop and things with my name on it, to her it's like, oh man, like it's my boy, like. So those are the things that make me happy, man. Like I gave my mom a little moment there where she could say, hey, you did it. You did it. We've been through rough times, it wasn't easy growing up, but we did it. So sorry, I get emotional, man. You guys can't do this to me now.
And your journey is not even halfway over, brother. You're still young, and you're just starting to hit your stride now.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, who knows? Listen, the things to come, man, are going to be awesome for you. I mean, you're etching your name in stone, brother. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Just remember us little people when you get so big that you want $10,000 to do a freaking show.
Wire it.
Listen, I'm still working on getting respect from people in the industry. It's a slow process, but I'll work on it. And
Yeah, man,
just when
but
you
you're
think
good
you
too,
get,
man.
well, I guess it depends on who you talk to after that video.
Nah,
But
you're good too, man. You're a genuine cat, bro. None of us are perfect. You know what I'm saying? None of it is. Not everybody's gonna love you 100% of the time.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
don't care if they love me or like me, but respect me
Yeah.
for my accomplishments and just respect me, and if you don't respect me, then just move on. Leave me alone.
Can't make everybody happy, bro.
Yeah, and I don't try to. Believe me, if I did, I wouldn't shoot my mouth off the way I do. My philosophy has been, and you know this about me. Your opinion of me is none of my damn business.
Yeah, that's true. You always said that.
I don't give, you don't have to like me. I'm not here to please anybody, but I am here to try to be the best person I can be for my family, for my kids, for myself. And if that's recognized by other people, of course that's nice.
Yeah,
George Vega's
absolutely.
here. What's going on, buddy?
Who?
Listen, George Vega, he's a really talented artist. He has a Kickstarter that I think ends tomorrow. You go pledge on that damn thing, okay? Because it's a good book, and he's a good guy, and he's a talented artist. The World of M. Go check that out. George, put the link in the chat. Sorry, I like to try to plug everybody. I don't
No,
mean
of
to be
course,
rude on
bro.
your
Of
show.
course, bro.
We have a couple of things that in the chat. Raphael had said, based on what we were talking about before, I feel he's always being asked how can I write, and I am always answering just write. Write because you want to write, because you want to tell your story. Yes, you can make money writing, but your passion should be what you grow. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Keith asked, what book would you have wanted to work on or would you have worked on at CrossGen?
Oh, I don't know, because the cross-gen thing, I've always wanted to work with. I had some. What was the book that? What was the book that Bart Sears was drawing? Those titles are so hard for me to remember.
I never really followed CrossGen. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Mark Hamill did some stuff for a while there, but I didn't really closely follow.
I like the one that Bart Sears was doing. I only know them by the art, and the one that there were two brothers who did a book. Lau, were they Lau? I think Lau. I think were the last names.
The first, John Howard said the first.
Yeah, I think that
Keith
was
said
it. I always
Path.
liked that book. I didn't get too into them, so I don't have any like deep love for any other books, to be honest. But
Right.
I like that book mainly because Bart Sears drew it. And I loved Brandon Peterson when he drew he was drawing like the flag title.
Yeah.
And there was a science fiction one, and the one that Jimmy Chung used to draw too. Again, as you can see, I follow the artists. I know them by the artists. I don't really
right.
know the titles. But yeah, the sci-fi one was the two brothers. I think one was the penciler, the one was the inker. I forgot what their names were. I think it was Lau or something like that. Was their last name? But yeah, maybe one of those books.
By the way, George, I know you just came to say hi, but go ahead and put that link to your Kickstarter, man. I know you only have like a day left. Put it in there. Keith wanted to ask you, out of all the Rob books he had going back in the 90s, what book would you have liked to have worked on the most?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Prophet?
Really? Prophet? Okay.
Prophet was because I loved Prophet's design. I loved the Stephen Platt version too, but to be honest, like I was more into the original purple,
right.
design, the Rob. And Youngblood. Youngblood was like my thing, bro. I loved Die
I liked
Hard.
Youngblood. Yeah, I liked Youngblood a lot.
And Team Youngblood was dope too. I know that was Chapiev's character, but I liked Dutch. Dutch was dope. But Die Hard was like my favorite character to draw. Again, he was a masked character, very much like Deadpool.
Right.
So I used to love drawing. I love that black stripe down the face. I thought that design was immaculate.
Marad drew Die Hard on my Image Jam.
Yeah, dude, I love that, man. So yeah, I think Prophet would have been. I also like the Berserkers, which Dan Fraga drew.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. They were the original. Originally, they were called the Executioners, which Rob had a little bit of an issue with Marvel about. Remember?
Yeah.
But he renamed them the Berserkers. I thought they were really cool because I liked Cross, who was the leader. I thought his design was he was like a younger Cable, but he looked really cool with the metal legs.
Right.
And I think her girl's name was Battle Axe or something like that.
See, Rob did a lot of cable variant kind of characters, like the
Yeah,
guy from Bloodstrike and stuff, Cabot. But I didn't
yeah,
care. I thought they were fun books, man. I liked all those books. They were
yeah,
fun. I
dude. Yeah,
still have them.
oh, sorry about that, guys.
I still have them. I love his books. They were fun, and I wish he still had Youngblood. And I
I
wish
know, I
the
know.
quality of art and everything. I won't get into that because I don't want to stir up hornet's nest. But so we got some other questions. Dante asked about the glove you're wearing before, and I forgot to get to that too.
Oh, it's a smudge guard. This one's really like on its last leg, but this is a smudge guard.
No, but he had a specific question, like what type or something like that. I forget. Sorry,
That's what it's called.
Dante.
It's called a smudge guard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I bought them on Amazon. I bought them. I think I have two new ones, and I still keep using this one until it dies. But I bought them on Jet Pens. And if you look up smudge guard, they come in. They also come in red, and they come with another one that has like 2 fingers covered. So there's a couple of variations for it, but I love it.
And Dante also wants to know, when it comes to inking, do you like it when the pencils are really tight or very loose and let you do more finishes in the inks with the inks?
I like room to play. I don't like to trace anything.
Yeah,
I really don't. I like.
Well, there he goes. He called it a snooker glove. Sorry.
Oh, what?
He said, "Are you using a snooker glove to ink?" Sorry, but go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, no, I like a little room to play. I don't like to trace. I like to kind of go in and add my little flair, and anything that's too tight for me becomes super boring.
Right.
And I'm lucky enough, especially at this stage, like I have a lot of trust from the guys who I work with.
Sure.
So they leave that. They don't feel like they have to throw every little single line perfectly. They let me kind of do my thing. So yeah. I would rather looser pencils than tighter. But I mean, that's because I like to pencil. I know inkers who can't do that and don't want anything that's
right.
They want everything on the page because that's what they can draw. I'm not like that. I kind of like to go in, and as long as the base is there, I can kind of go in and do my thing, and that makes it fun for me because I feel like I'm drawing as well.
Very cool. Yeah, Dante said he thought it was a pool snooker shooting glove. Snooker.
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about. No,
yeah, so do I. Now I know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I used to shoot pool all the time, and I haven't been in a pool hall in like 2 decades.
Me too. I haven't been to one in a long. I used to go to the one. I don't know if you remember on Queens Boulevard. There was one.
Yeah, I used to go there all the time, and then there was one on Jamaica Avenue in Woodhaven. Yeah, I used to go to both of those all the time. I used to go to Queens Boulevard all the time.
Yeah, that was the one by that was in I think Long Island City.
Was it considered Long Island City at that point?
Yeah, that was Long Island.
It was right there.
It was right by my high school.
Yeah.
So we used to go there, like not cut class, because they wouldn't let you in, but we would go back after school and smoke cigarettes and be rebels. You know what I'm saying? Bad boys.
I used to just see. I never smoked, I never drank, but man, I used to get into fights all the time. Never started them, but I sure as hell didn't walk away from them either.
Really? See, I wasn't a fighter. I didn't really.
Dude, I've had like over 60 fights in my life. I have a scar. Damn. Yeah, I got slashed over my eye, straight to my skull. I had to get plastic surgery.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
I've only had like 4 fights in my life.
No, yeah, I've had a lot. I never started them, but I didn't walk away from them either. I always had a baby face, and people thought they could push me around, and it just, and I'm not saying I won every fight. I sure as hell didn't, but but the point is, after a while, people started realizing, even if I can take him, I don't really want to go through the trouble because he's gonna just keep fighting.
Yeah, you're fighting Irish, bro. It's fitting.
I put up a post not too long ago, and I put it up, tongue in cheek, but it's kind of true. I said Irish are known for fighting and drinking, and I don't drink.
Yeah, there you go, man. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. No, I was never a
golden Q. That's it. Yes,
huh?
Dante, the golden Q. I'm sorry to cut you off. Yes, right. The golden Q. That's it. So anyway, you were saying.
No. I've never been a fighter. I've never been that kind of guy, but You know, I wasn't pussy, but you know what I'm saying.
No, but if you were never put in a situation, why bother?
No, I never seeked out that wasn't my action. I wasn't.
And the
Into
funny thing is, I didn't seek it out. It just kept finding me for some reason.
Yeah.
And maybe God was trying to teach me the lesson of walking away, but I just wasn't listening.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, I'm like, it's funny because, sorry about my cat screaming, but it's funny because two of my favorite characters are the Hulk and Superman. Superman, because I value his honor, his integrity,
Yeah.
and those altruistic things. But I relate to, and I aspire to be that. But I relate to the Hulk because, man, the temper, oof.
Yeah.
It gets so overpowering sometimes. I'm like, I don't know how to. My wife is like, someday you're gonna go to jail, and I'm not bailing you out.
Damn, you're on your own, son.
My wife, she says, I'm not bailing you out. If you don't want to learn your lesson, you're gonna keep blowing off your temper. You're on your own.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. We all have our weak points.
Yeah, everybody has their thing, man.
The thing is, I acknowledge it's a weakness of mine, and that if I know I'm going to be in a situation, like I knew I was going to be provoked by a certain individual in that video, I asked her to come with me with the kids to keep me calm, and sure enough, he went after my family verbally, and I went to kill him anyway. But still,
it went down to that.
Oh yeah, he long story short, the person was harassing in front of my children. My 6 and 4-year-old at the time were standing right in front of him. And I kept asking him humbly, please, not in front of my family. And he kept going, and he was insulting me, and he was being rude. And I said, I'm asking you, not in front of my family. And he said, I don't give a fuck about your family, right in front of my kids and my wife. And I went to take his jaw off, and my wife goes, no! And she wraps her arms around me, like around my elbows as I'm coming up. And someone said, well, if you really wanted to hit him, why didn't you? I was go, because when my wife touches me, I stop. Yeah. That's the one thing that stops me. I will never get physical with my wife or any woman, ever. Yeah. So, yeah, he's a low life. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah. It went down.
Yeah, it is what it is. And, smugly sat there. Yeah, Phil, you don't want to call security. Yeah, Phil, the kids are here. Yeah, Phil. Whatever. We don't need to go around that road again because it really just it's just easy for me to start going off.
Yeah, sure.
We don't need a sequel.
I hear you. I heard you once on that. I don't want that dude again.
That Adelso show was going so well, and then it just fell off a freaking cliff, man.
The Irish came out. It's over.
But see, that's the thing. I tell people, I'll give you the shirt off my back or my foot in your ass. It's all up to you. And I really will give my shirt off my back to anyone. Until you give me a reason not to, Yeah. I don't want to be the angry guy. I really don't. I don't ever want to go that route. It's just unfortunate that some people, they don't know respect. They only know fear, until you put fear in them, or, and some people deserve the only way they learn is a smack in the mouth. I hate to say that, but it's true. Mm. But I'd rather be the peaceful guy that just tries to build up the community. I don't want to tear anything down, Yeah.
No, it's better that way, man. It's less problems, bro.
I know.
That was what kind of kept me away. First of all, I wasn't really a troublemaker, but that's another reason I always kind of kept my cool, because I don't know. I always felt like it's too much trouble. Like, you get into a fight, and you gotta worry about retaliation or going to jail, or I just felt like it's too much trouble. Nothing's worth it to me. Again, I guess if somebody was threatening my family, that would be different.
See, that was the thing, is my little girls were right in front of him, and when he said that, all I felt was a threat to them. I really did. It wasn't personal with me, it was personal with them, and I felt a threat to my children, and as any other parent would be.
Yeah, of course. Again,
you don't go that route, dude. You don't go that route.
So I can't judge that. But
Ace is still with us, and he says, smell like Adelso and everyone will warm up to you, except for Marat.
I do smell good, though. I do smell good. He's right, though. I do like myself a little cologne, what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not usually into that smelling guys thing, or women either. I don't walk up to women and smell them either, but, I'll take his word for it.
I'll let you smell next time we hang out.
Yeah. When I see you, I'm going to come to the other side of the table and just start sniffing you up and down. They'll think it's two dogs meeting each other.
Hey, that stuttering sign, is it getting loud?
Yeah. It's like, is that big, fat Irish guy sniffing that man? Then I'll start walking up to like Todd McFarlane and start sniffing him. Anyway, that is coming out really nice.
Thank you, man.
That is beautiful.
See if that helps.
What's that?
So I was trying to move the phone around, see if it helped with the.
I know. Well, we've actually been at this 2.5 hours, my friend.
Are you for real? Damn, it feels like maybe an hour.
Dude, you know, I take pride in the fact that guests come on my show and they have a good time and they never realize how much time goes by. They just enjoy themselves.
I had a good time, and I really did. It didn't feel like that long at all, to be honest.
Well, that's because I'm awesome to talk to.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if we can only get Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane to feel that, and Jim Lee to feel that way.
Soon enough.
They're saying the static is getting really bad. So
yeah,
we're losing your audio, they said. So look, we're gonna wrap this up then, and what I'm gonna do is anything you want to pitch or anything you want to say, please go ahead.
Yeah, now first of all, thank you, man. Thank everybody for having me. I had an amazing time. It's been fun. It hasn't felt like that long at all. Yeah, just look out for X-Men. I don't have any exact dates on anything because they don't give me anything. But
Adelso, I'm sorry, hang on. Do me a favor. Go out and come back in so that you can just have a proper send-off, okay? Because it's bad. So we're going to see if we can get Adelso to come back in and the audio can fix itself. All right. Well, and we'll have him come back in a second so you can have a proper send-off. Before you all bail out, we'll have him come in and say his last words and things like that. As always, I appreciate you guys coming out. All of you are awesome. Heather came out after her show at 10, which I forgot she has her show at 10. I'm so sorry. And Raphael and Dante and Steve and John and Keith and just everybody that came out. Ace, you're awesome, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate your humor. I appreciate your art. Your art is beautiful. You're a good guy, and you're always welcome back on the show whenever you want. So I appreciate you coming out and hanging out. I know some people were here and they've left, like Marat and Brian, but thanks for you guys coming out and stuff. It's always great having you guys be a part of this, and I consider you a part of this. So he's back. Let's just see how that's working. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. So say anything you want to say, man.
The floor really bad, though, but let's give it a couple minutes.
Okay. So the floor is yours for the next few minutes.
It seems to get better after a couple of minutes. But...
Okay. So the floor is yours for the next few minutes. Say whatever you want to say, my friend.
Sorry, what did you say?
The floor is yours. Say whatever you want to say see ya.
I can't even hear you, bro.
This is going real well. We made it 2.5 hours. So yeah, X-Men Legends #1 comes out on February 17th. X-Men number 17 is releasing on January 27th. So check out and look out for those X-Men books by Adelso and Brett Booth.
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. I was just letting Dante was kind enough to put in X-Men Legends #1 is coming out on February 17th. Oh, okay. And X-Men 17 is on January 27th.
Oh, damn, man. Thank you so much, man. So,
yeah, Dante's
got
awesome.
Those books coming out. Snake Eyes as well. I'm working on with Rob Liefeld. I'm also going to be working with Rob on his Archie comic stuff. So you can check that out. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be with him on helping him out on Deadpool, the 30th anniversary stuff that he's been promoting. And and Blindside 2021. Very
nice.
Important. Blindside is going to be that's kind of very much a passion project for both Marat and I. Marat's, he's bringing me on as like basically the other half. I'm not just the inker on that. It's going to be a very, at least artistically, it's going to be a very collaborative effort. We got some really cool covers coming for that. So yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. 2021, man. I can't complain. And again, thank you guys. I so appreciate everything. I am humbled every day by the support, by the love, and yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much.
Awesome. So I just want everybody again, and next issue Snake Eyes is set for December 30th, according to Dante. So that's right. That's right here.
My man knows more than I do.
Dante's rock solid. Anytime you need info, man, you're so reliable.
My man Dante is coming through, man.
Hell yeah.
And Phil, my man, thank you again, bro. I love what we did. I had so much fun. It felt easy. It felt natural.
Good.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, bro. Seriously, thank you for having me, man.
I'm glad you were able to make it on. I know because of deadlines you had to cancel the original date, but I was glad that you were able to come on and that you didn't have to cancel again, because you were one of the guests I look forward to and have fun. We know each other. There's a little, we have a little chemistry as friendly, being friendly and all. So those are the fun shows.
Yeah, man. Two kids from Queens, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing our thing, bro.
And just to remind everybody scrolling on the bottom, Instagram is at Adelso Corona. Facebook is Art of Adelso, and Twitter is Adelso_Corona. He does a lot of art posts. I mean, he's not one of those artists that's putting everything but art. You get to see a ton of beautiful art when you follow his pages. So go check that out and follow him. But more importantly, support him. Go buy those books. Go show him the love. Snake Eyes is set for December 30th. X-Men 17 is out January 27th. X-Men Legends #1, I'm so excited for, is February 17th. And of course, as he said, look out for a lot of other great projects coming your way, from Marat Michaels' Blindside to Rob Liefeld's Deadpool anniversary stuff. You name it. And Adelso, man, if you're not on the Adelso train, get on board, because this thing is steamrolling, brother. It's going.
The 7 train.
Yeah, the 7 train. Dude, if you don't mind hanging backstage for a minute, I'll say my C's to everybody. Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure.
All right. So again, thanks for coming out, Adelso. God bless you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
Continued success.
Thank you, brother.
All right. So that was episode 44.5, and that was Adelso Corona. As you can see, an awesome dude, extremely talented. That piece he was working on is beautiful. Whoever's getting that commission is a lucky person. Good on them. And I cannot wait to see that issue come out with him and Brett Booth. And I need to get some pages. Anyway. So listen, we're ending the year big time on Creatorcon. We have Adelso tonight, and Tuesday we have Bob McLeod. And let me tell you, Bob McLeod is a legend in the industry. He's one of my favorites. Oh, Dante, I'm sorry, I missed your Crusaders question. Okay, you know what? Hang on. I'm bringing you back for a second, Adelso, because I missed the question.
I'm done. No, I'm just playing.
Dante asked a question that I missed, and he really wanted to know. So with Crusaders, are you guys sticking to the original Archie designs or using some of the DC Impact comics costumes?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. That's a question. I'm not really sure, to be completely honest. I'm not too familiar with the original designs anyway. And I feel like Rob's always gonna throw on his little flavor,
Right.
But yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't gotten that far into it to kind of see the difference, to be honest. So yeah, sorry, bad answer. But I wish I had a better answer for you, man. But you're gonna have to wait and see. I'm gonna play it off like it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, he said he pre-ordered all of them. So, well, hey, Dante, I got your question out, okay? So at least I did my part.
No, I was good. Sorry, man. Sorry.
All right, I'll see you in a minute. I'll see you, Adelso.
All right, man.
All right, so a legend in the industry, Bob McLeod, will be here Tuesday night at 9 p.m. I love New Mutants. I love a lot of work he did with Superman, and he's done Spider-Man, and he did the spoof magazine from Marvel. Was it? Oh God, I can't think. But anyway, yes, Bob McLeod will be here Tuesday at 9 p.m. He's a legend. I mean, he's known for inking, but he's also an amazing penciler. He's co-creator of the New Mutants. He is a big part of my favorite era of comics. I really like talking to Bob when I see him at shows. He's a really nice guy. He's on most of my jams, and every bit of work he does is phenomenal. He's on my jam right there. He drew Mirage. There's my finger. This is hard. There you go. Anyway, the New Mutants jam is right there. He drew Mirage. And Bob McLeod is the man who co-created with Chris Claremont the New Mutants. So Bob will be here ringing in the new year with me. I mean, sort of. It'll be my last show of this year, the 29th. Bob McLeod, legend. Bob McLeod. So come on out Tuesday and show Bob a lot of love, all right? Bob, a lot of love. Sounds like a song from like Bob Marley or something. Anyway, look, you guys are awesome. I love you. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate the community that you are building up, that we're all here for each other, that you're all together. I appreciate your friendship, your kind words, your support. So do the artists. You guys are awesome. There is no comics without all of us, right? We do it together. So, yeah, Raphael, I know what he thinks about the new movie, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the way it is. Again, thank you for everything you guys do. I appreciate it. And yes, he helped create the New Mutants, and that was one of the best times of my life. And yes, when Wheezy was writing, even X Factor too, she was doing. It was awesome. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up so Adelso's not backstage for the rest of his life. You guys rock. I thank you so much. I'm gonna leave you with what I always leave you with: be legendary and have fun storming the castle.